1994. From the murky banks of terrestrial radio, a new hope begins to rise.
Opie and Anthony are radio shock jocks known for setting up.
Yeah, good talking,
buddy.
We'll
go back to sleep. And I'll
do that. All right. By these intimidating looking thugs. Yeah. And they're, hey, buy this. You're like,
Welcome to Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho-comedy radio show on any station across the nation. We're here to take your calls tonight. That's right, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. We want to hear from you. Tell us your stories about small business tyrants, drug, dare officers, military recruitment, anything that we might find interesting. We want to hear from you. The number to dial is 614-655-3887. We're here every single Sunday, 9 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. You can watch us on all the live streams, Facebook, and Facebook. Just jump in that chat. If you got nothing else to do, there's other people hanging out. If you're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, you can also see it as well. Ready to get this thing started. Still raising money also for Kayla. If you want to help her out, send it to our Venmo at Street Fight Radio. That's the donation pot that I put together myself, and so that's what we're doing right now. Is there anything left? I don't think so. We got new bonus shows just came out on the Patreon. We've got a lot of stuff out right now. September is going to be awesome because we're home the whole time, and I'm ready to get this started.
I'm Shocktober coming up October 1st. You got to get on Patreon, $5 and up, so that on October 1st you aren't left out.
Yes.
Shocktober.
We are going to be doing a premium level subscription. We got to pay people. We got to pay guests. We have to pay for labor to get all these audio clips together. It requires a lot of effort. So if you bump up to the $5 level in October, we're going to be offering that bonus audio for everybody $5 and above.
Yep. Cool shows coming up. Cool shows. First episode, October 1st, Opie and Anthony. You're going to get a deep dive into Opie and Anthony with me and Felix Biederman. Second episode will be probably me, Felix, and Brett talking about Tom Likas. And we'll announce the rest as they go. I don't think you need to do all of them, but, they're all going to be very cool. They're all very cool guests, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
How you doing, Brett?
So far, so good. My weekend was actually more chill than it's been in recent weeks, and I got to relax a little bit. So I had a good time. Nothing exciting. I did birthday stuff, which is, fine, but it's birthday stuff.
Birthday parties like for kids?
Yeah.
Those are all the time. It seems like they never end. You just are doing them constantly. I got lucky this year. My kid's going to Austin City Limit, so I don't have to throw a birthday, You just be like, hey, this is your birthday present. There you go. Boom.
Hey, Adrian D., thanks for sending that money. That was a pretty quick response.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
But yeah, ACL was like, that should count for 2 birthdays. I would have.
Ain't going to count for 2 birthdays, buddy. Nothing counts for 2 birthdays.
That's true.
It's crazy, like, how important birthdays are to kids. Like, they're still important to me. I want to be treated special on my birthday. I get pissed when people don't treat me special on my birthday. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Why is everybody ignoring me? This is my big special day.
Right.
And, kids are the same way. I think we're all conditioned to feel that way. From when we're born, it's like, you're the most important person today. So it becomes your favorite day. And then, because when my daughter was 6 and 7, man, she was already thinking about her next birthday 8 months before her birthday.
Yeah, Charlotte's already like, well, can I get it when I turn 7? Can I get that gift when I turn 7 then?
Yeah. It's like, no, we're not. You aren't gonna want anything. I've been running like crazy this weekend because the kid had to get a physical for sports, and I don't think she really wants to play sports. I don't think she likes playing sports, but I had to go get her a physical.
Yeah.
And she fought it all the way until we did it one day late because it was just like,
You do it or you don't play.
yeah, it's like you do it or you don't play. And she's like, basically she's like me in that she was thinking like, I don't care if I don't play. Like, I don't want to play really, but it's like, then why'd you join a sport?
Right.
Don't join a sport if you don't want to play out there, teenagers that are listening to this show.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
That's
It's
good
too
advice
much work,
for
too
our teen
expensive.
listeners.
Yeah. For any of our high school listeners, sports are expensive.
Get the physical. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah. I also got to buy a homecoming dress soon.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'm starting to think about like prom though. In like 3 years, it's going to be homecoming dress and then right to a turnaround on prom. For me. I mean, not for her. It's going to feel like a decade, right? Like that time between homecoming and prom is going to feel like forever. But to me, it's going to feel like 15 minutes. It's going to drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, what are prom dresses? Like $5,000 now?
No.
Like, how expensive do you think a prom dress is?
It's
like,
however, I mean, people make do. I mean, you are always focused on like some level of normalcy on TV that is always for people that make like $250,000. Like that's on TV. What's normal on TV, like Modern Family, they bring in about $250,000 a year. Like all of your TV show sitcom people, that's about how much they make.
Okay, I'm feeling better because I'm looking at prom dresses now, and it's looking like the most expensive one I saw was like $228.
Yeah, I mean,
I can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to
that's
be
not gonna kill
pissed
me.
because you're going to be like, you could actually get like a Bape Adidas combo tracksuit for about the same price as your prom dress.
Well,
that's what
that
you're
is
going to be
true.
doing.
Yeah, you should just wear a Bape Adidas combo. I mean, you're only going to wear it once. That's the frustrating thing, I think, like that I don't understand because here's the thing. I embarrassed a girl when I was in 8th grade because she asked me to a dance and I showed up to the dance in shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh, no.
The 8th grade dance because I didn't know, dude. And I think my parents might have bought me dress-up clothes because they would have been excited that I wanted to dress up, but I was afraid to ask them for dress-up clothes, right? Mm-hmm. And I showed up in those clothes, and it was just like, she's in a dress, I'm in jean shorts and a t-shirt. It's a horrible experience. So I do know that I got to make sure I buy her the things that she needs to be successful in dressing up. But I also think that, like, I probably would have bought a suit in the 9th grade and just worn it to all the things,
No, I don't believe that at all.
Why?
Because you just told us, we just had a story from 3 weeks ago about how you didn't have any clothes to wear to a proper engagement. And then you just told a story about 25 years ago. You had the same problem. So I don't think you've moved much on the issue. And I don't think that you are ever going to do anything different. You weren't eventually going to come around on dress clothes.
No, I think if I would have gotten it, though, I would have just busted it out for each occasion. I didn't go to any dances anyway,
Yeah.
I didn't go to prom either. Drove around in my car in my friend Sarah's XR4TI Mercure and drank out of a bottle of cheap rum. And we just went to the parties and stuff.
I think it's everybody else's fault that just doesn't understand who you are and won't accept you for your way that you express yourself and you like to dress.
I think people do respect it, though. Do you think anybody expects me to, like, dress up when we show up to things?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think like, this is going to come off like conceited or whatever, but I think people are just like, well, at least he came. And I'm not saying that like, oh, the thing is a failure if I don't show up to the thing. I'm saying that as in like, he did something he didn't want to do, Brian did something he didn't want to do, and he doesn't do that. And that's a great thing that he showed up. But I did that funeral, man. That was a shock to the system. I'm going to tell you the truth. That was one of those moments in my life where I looked around and I was like, I remember looking around and being like, well, that woman's in scrubs, so seems fine what I wore.
Yeah,
When
you're
look at a
wearing
woman in scrubs.
You were wearing your job uniform as well.
I did have jeans on.
Yeah, you were wearing your job uniform.
I put on what I wear on stage at a live show. Basically, jeans, t-shirt, Air Force Ones. Didn't think it looked too bad, you know.
No.
So I was feeling pretty good about myself, you know. But I also kind of was like, I should have went and bought some. I just don't know what.
It's just crazy because like you are living your own way, but then just feel bad about it the whole time. You're not even just like arrogantly bulldozing your way through things saying, I'll dress how the fuck I want to dress. I don't give a fuck how anybody else is. You're doing it, but then also like, I hate this.
I feel bad all the time about everything. I never feel good about my decisions. But you're right, though. When you look at me compared to like the other people that we're around, I don't think any of them expect more out of me.
You don't even listen to like other people get bullied into buying the clothes by their like anxious feelings. Like other people just comply with all of those thoughts. You think them and don't like, I don't like, they're just worthless.
You're right. You're probably right. I can agree with that. But I don't know. I don't think anybody's looking at me. You know?
Yeah, nobody does care.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think everybody could wear jeans and t-shirts to a funeral and everybody would be okay with it.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, I think everybody could wear jeans and t-shirts to a wedding and everybody would be okay. I don't even think the bride and groom would care.
But then someone would show up in pajama pants the next time.
Well, you're probably right. I just think that, like, all that kind of pressure is self-made. It's not pressure from other people.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure.
any of that kind of pressure is a thing that, like, I am making myself feel bad.
Yeah.
And
Just
other people
second guessing yourself.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I don't think we live in a formal world anymore. I just don't think we live in a world where people do formal things.
It is really hard to expect that from anybody because, like, young people, I mean, us, now that we're getting older, are just like, man, we really don't care.
Well, what's the damn point? What is the point? I mean, I understand wanting to look nice. Like, I totally understand it. But our idea of what looks nice can evolve. It doesn't have to be the same shit that people wore in 1920. It doesn't have to be that. It could be that a nice t-shirt and a nice pair of jeans is formal in our time because it doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
The only people that should have to wear suits are presidents, I think. Maybe. No, I think. And let's think. The president and probably... Until we cut the heads off of all the companies, the CEOs and stuff, they got to wear the suits. But the rest of us shouldn't even have to be bothered with it. We shouldn't have to be bothered with their dress code. I bought my wife a shirt at the Sheer Mag concert the other night. And I was like, you going to wear that? You know? Like, are you ever going to wear that out? Because it's not like... It's not like your kind of thing.
Well, yeah, I'm wearing one right now, so
Yeah.
it would be hard to wear to work for like a casual Friday or something. It's covered in like snakes and skulls and weapons.
Well, she said you're not allowed to wear graphic tees at work because they're afraid people start wearing union shirts.
Yeah,
at work,
yeah.
That is
Heard
so
that.
weird. Who would do that?
I've heard that a million times.
But what would that do, dude? Do you see a shirt? Do you ever see a shirt and be like, I got to get on a part of that thing? Do you like read somebody's shirt and be like, oh man, you know?
How awesome would it be though if you made a custom shirt that said sign union cards?
It would be cool. I'm not saying it's not cool. We should make a collared shirt. We should make like a nice collared shirt that says join the union all over it. And then they hit it with button up.
Yeah.
And
like,
everything. And
Oxford.
like do it in like a style that like in like maybe little pinstripes that just say join the union down the whole thing.
Like micro writing.
Yeah, and
I
nobody
like that.
can say a fucking word to you because you're dressed under the dress code and your shirt still says join the union.
All right, we're getting the clothing business. We're the disruptive clothing business.
Well, it just seems stupid. Like, I just like I guess like people wear street fight shirts. Right? Like, we have enough that are out, and they're out there.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that anybody I don't think anybody looks at the back of the shirt and says, what Street Fight Radio? I need to look that up, and then looks it up and then subscribes to the podcast and then listens to it and becomes a fan. Which is the same thing I think about, like, if somebody wore a Union shirt to work at a place that's not Union. I just don't know if, like, anybody would be like, oh, like, you know, earlier today, it occurred to me after seeing a T-shirt that said join the Union on it, that I should join a union and then starting a union. Like, it seems like such
It's
catastrophic thinking.
It's not it's targeted. Like
it is targeted.
It is. I mean, like it would be smart. It is a smart tactic. I still think it's a good tactic. I think they're right in shutting it down because I think it could work.
Like that like if one person wore it and then another person wore it and then you started seeing more people wearing it and you realize, oh shit,
all these people are down.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Let's make Join the Union shirts.
Yeah. We could maybe do it in Pig Latin or something. So
Oing J the Union Yay?
Yeah.
Union's not a good Pig Latin.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Pig Latin.
Right.
It starts with a vowel, you're fucked. You know?
But it's funny.
And it's Oing J the Union Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went and played bingo this weekend.
Bingo.
First time I ever played bingo in my life.
In town?
Yeah, I was at a carnival. There's a carnival across the street from my
it.
house that I go to every year. It is my chance to go check out the local carnies, go around and look at their booths, see what they're doing. Did not play any games. Was infuriated by one of the games, though. The balloon dart game, right?
Right.
Easiest of all the games. And
sometimes.
I think it is. I think it's undoubtedly the least riggable of all the games.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a setup. I mean, you got to win like 10 small prizes to get one medium and then
Right.
5 mediums to get one large.
Right, that's what it said. For the extra large prize, the only way you could win the extra large prize was to pop 2 balloons, but you also had to pay $40 to play.
What?
I know. So you give the man $40, and then if you don't hit the 2 balloons, you still don't win the fucking thing.
Wow, they've really just fucked up that whole system.
You know, I've missed the balloons before in my life. I would never do that. Like, I'm a gambling man these days, of course. Everybody knows I love gambling now. But I would not bet that because I don't know. Actually, I probably would bet that.
But you're going to win a $5 stuffed animal.
That's the thing. If they fucking gave you money.
That's stupid. It's just like it's just like the rich people can just pay to get their kid a prize anymore.
I know.
You know, it's not like somebody going in there with $5 in a dream, you know.
Yeah. There is a cool thing. Before I get to bingo, there is a cool thing at this carnival that kills me, that like makes me laugh every time. The school gives away prizes. So there's the carny games for the real carnies with all the carny stuff, right? You
blow
can
up
get
hammers,
your jerseys, your minions, your stuffed animals.
Budweiser mirrors.
Budweiser mirror. Well, no, they don't do that.
I know. Why don't they do Budweiser?
I don't know. I got to
Too many people got slashed on that glass, dude.
I know.
That glass would cut you open. Or the framed pictures? Do they do the cardboard framed pictures?
I hope they do the mirrors still. Truthfully,
yeah, I wouldn't.
Around. But anyway, the school plays games, and their prizes for their games are all 2 liters of pop, right? And these fucking kids, when they win, nobody's more excited than a 7-year-old with a 2 liter of root beer. And I like saw them running around with it, and I was like, oh man, I remember how excited I was when I figured out you could get a fucking 2 liter of root beer, and like I like how excited I was that it was as cheap as getting a 20 ounce, and that you could walk around and just you know.
Yeah.
These kids are so amped. So it's weird. It's cheap. It's probably not. I wouldn't be handing that out.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
In my school district?
Yeah.
But we've talked about ours.
They don't even drink pop. I remember at a recent birthday party, we watched someone give away about 48 cans of pop because it was like, they kept getting passed down from party to party and they couldn't get rid of it.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Not going to drink it.
I know,
if you leave pop in my house, I just dump it down the sink.
You can't, there's no amount of drinking it that can it's just, I have them at my house because I have one a day, right? So they'll last 12 days or whatever, and that's fine.
But having kids around on
100,
it. Yeah.
Like nobody's drinking pop for sustenance anymore. Those days are over.
Yeah.
Those days ended about 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I think, where people were just like, oh, I just you know, I survive on Coke all day, which is, I did know people growing up that drank Coke from the time they got up till the time they went to bed. Always made sure they had it in there. Always made sure they had some.
Yeah.
Or like Mountain Dew. I did Mountain Dew for a period, where it's just like Mountain Dew from the time I got up till the time I went to bed. Never water. But now it's like seltzer water. You just gotta have a bunch of seltzer water. Things. That's what anybody wants.
Kids still want pop. They're probably gonna do like stupid videos where they like flip it over and it like lands standing up or something. That's what they're excited
they're
about.
Gonna shoot
they're gonna do
in their butts.
Yeah, they're gonna do Mentos stuff.
Videos, Mentos in the butt, like where they put the Mento in it. And they
like a
their
bidet
butt over it. Yeah, it's so stupid.
Oh
but
man,
kids rule though. You know, like it's just hey.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got over to the bingo tent, and it was the only gambling they had there. It was really the only adult game they had there. So it's like, I'm going to go play bingo. What the hell? You know? And 50 cents a card.
Okay.
I bought 4. I bought 4 for my wife. And the prize was $45.
Okay, that's good buy-in.
That's what you're looking at. Yeah, $45 plus a meal. But it's a meal at the Carnival. It's not.
Oh, no. Okay, so that doesn't count.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, I'll just throw the fucking meal away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need this fucking meal, you know? But $45 for $2, I'm taking.
Yeah.
You know? And we lost the first game, and it pissed me off. I, like, hated the person who won. I was so mad. Because I was so convinced I was going to win.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I played. I got in there because I was like, yeah, you're going to win this bingo, and you're going to get an extra $45. You're going to be great. So
did you say it out loud?
I did to Katie. Yeah.
Okay,
I was sitting next to Katie, and I was just like, we're going to $45, man. Like, we could win $45, take it over to the casino, and double that $45. This seems
$2 to $90.
Yeah.
Quickly.
$2. You start at $2, you end up with $90. That's a big come up for a guy like me. You know?
Money.
And so we lose, and then they start selling cards again. These times the cards are for $1. I buy 4 again, 4 for each of us.
Okay.
I'm like, we gotta win this one. We're in this thing for $10 right now. This is crazy. Okay, or $10 or $12.
Right.
I'm like, we gotta win. We're down 12. You know, and the guy keeps saying it's for a good cause, and I'm like, I don't care if it's for a good cause, if I'm being honest. And after the $1 buy-in, the prize was still $45 and a combo dinner. And it was just like, okay. Like, you handed out the same like prize for 50 cents that you are for $1. That seems wrong. Lost again. Came very close the second time. But lost again, got up disgusted, and left the fucking Carnival. I was so mad that I gotta stop gambling.
Yeah, you should. It's not good for you. Yeah. It's supposed to be a fun thing to do.
I was getting so mad at the guy for telling jokes and not being clear about what the numbers were, because he kept talking about balls. Oh, balls. Oh, it's a blue ball. Blue balls. And he's like having a good time with it and stuff. And I was just like, oh, I hate this.
Yeah.
Come on, guy. Take this seriously. This is bingo.
Yeah.
This is real money.
There's money on the line
now. And I need you to stand up there and read this.
Could you put on like a tuxedo and get a cummerbund or something?
He was wearing a kilt and a Tokyo Police Club t-shirt.
Wow.
So that was my bingo time. I lost 2 times. Didn't win a damn thing. All the parents were drunk in the room. Like, everybody was drunk. It's just, we talked about this on the show last week, but it's just, if you're in like the suburbs, or even like what they call like my neighborhood, like a suburb, like an urban enclave sort of thing, and boy, they are just allowed to drink. They are just allowed to. They just get away with anything.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, they get away with so much stuff that the cops would hit you with the stick for in another neighborhood. It's like ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
These fucking moms are dancing sexy at the goddamn carnival. At the
Yeah.
kids' carnival to raise money for the damn school. And I'm just sitting there like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even believe they let them fucking sell alcohol here. Like, they're just letting them sell alcohol. And then they had a fence between the rides and the alcohol, and you just had to stay on the alcohol side. You couldn't take the alcohol through the fence.
That's smart.
I don't know. I mean, you let them ride a ride, but the parents don't ride rides anyway.
Yeah, no one's gonna ride a
rides.
Rick.
sitting there watching the guys do like sitting there watching the bands, like the cover bands or like the originals bands, which is like I don't like to tell people not to follow their dream or their heart or like do their art, you know. But if you're playing like a very public event that is like not your concert, it's got to be covered.
Yeah, I would just go out there and throw a crazy good show. The best show I could possibly do.
I know.
That would make them happy, not me happy.
I know. This is a guy just doing acoustic songs, like his own songs for like an hour. And it's like, I was like kind of admiring him a little bit because it was like, damn, how great would it be to like not have to have the audience paying attention to you for your performance, that like your performance doesn't hinge on the audience paying attention to you.
Right.
Like it's kind of jealous at the idea of a performance where the audience could like be totally disconnected from it, like eating, like talking to each other, but you're still up there doing your thing. I was like, because when we do that, when that's happened to us in the past, like say when we did that fundraiser over in Columbus, when we did that fundraiser and nobody liked us, it's just you're standing there and you're talking and it's like talking to a wall and it's like it's so embarrassing and uncomfortable. But I can't imagine it's like that if you got a guitar. That's been a thing I've noticed this week because I went to a concert too. I went to see Sheer Mag and I was like feeling bad for them. It's like they got to stand on stage. They got to like lug stuff up. First, they got to carry their stuff on stage.
Yeah.
And then they have to take it out of the case.
Send it all
And then
up.
they have to tune the guitar. And then they have to stand there and wait until they turn the house music off. And then they can start playing. It's not like they can't do an entrance or any of that stuff. At some of these like, you know, indie shows, and it's just like, oh, I feel bad for them. Like that is like so much work. Did you ever think of maybe like just doing a podcast and just talking to the audience?
Yeah, we can't all be podcasters.
If it seems easier is what I'm saying. Like what we do seems easier than like what Sheer Mag does, you know? Although they get to do the same thing every night. It's just like a trade, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just mutual respect.
I do have mutual respect. I wish I was in a rock band. Really, a guy did offer me not too long ago that he would put together a hardcore band and let me sing in it. And I said I would do it, but then he disappeared.
Oh.
I would sing in a hardcore. If you're out there and you have a hardcore band and you want me to come and just sing songs, I'll fucking sing songs in a hardcore band. Like, it's my dream. I always want to be a lead singer. Why not? You know? You don't have to be like a good singer to do it, do you?
No, I don't think so.
You just scream.
Passionate.
Yeah, you just sing about like whatever, you know. You can write the songs even.
Songs about whatever. The Brian Quimby hardcore album.
Like I did a
Covers?
cover. I did a cover of "Disarm" by Smashing Pumpkins.
No one wants to be in your band, dude.
Oh, I bet people would be in my band.
No one wants to hear you do an Eddie Vedder hardcore song.
No, I'm gonna scream them.
Right.
Like I'm gonna do.
No, I understand
like the hardcore
that. I understand that. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're out there and you want to do a hardcore band and I'm coming to your town and you want me to come in and just sing for you, I'll do it. I don't fucking care.
You might as well say like, oh, I'm a painter now, and then just paint a picture of Mickey Mouse.
But I'm not that. I'm not that. It's like fantasy camp. You know, I said this about the Significant Other album. Like Fred Durst does a song with Method Man on that album. Andy does a song with Scott Weiland on that album. And I was like, this is just rock and roll fantasy camp. Like, I want to do rock and roll fantasy camp. I just don't want to go to the real rock and roll fantasy camp because it seems depressing.
Okay.
We got callers?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Let's get these callers on the line. You want me to tweet the number?
You could, unless you don't want to stay for a while.
I mean, I like talking. I like being laid back about it, but I can tweet the number and... Yeah, I think we'll just take these calls and then see what happens later.
Okay.
You know?
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hey, this is Ben.
What's up, Ben? How are you tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good.
What's going on? Where are you at?
I'm calling from Kentucky.
All right.
I've been thinking about calling for a while because I wanted to talk about a shitty job that I haven't heard you guys mention.
Okay. Here's the thing. What is the job first? Let's hear the job.
It's working for a nonprofit.
Oh, shit. Here's the thing about that. We have heard at live shows people will come up to us and talk to us about working at a nonprofit quite a bit. I don't think we do too much of it on the show.
We did have someone that called in. I feel. I remember
a long time ago. We had
ago.
The person calling, but that was like a very specific problem to them. Like it was their drunk boss was sleeping at their house.
Oh, nice.
That's not the one I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. So,
oh yeah, that was that was a different one.
So what's up? What kind of things were bad about it?
Well, I'm a social worker, and so I first started out working at a small faith-based nonprofit. It wasn't my job that was the shittiest. There's like bad things about nonprofits generally, just like, low income, all that kind of stuff. They just pay garbage.
They take advantage of your passion and because you want to help people.
Absolutely.
They absolutely take advantage
and they'll
of
tell you that. Yeah, they'll tell you that when you ask for a raise too. They'll be like, "Well, think about all the other benefits that you get working here."
What's the benefits?
At a nonprofit.
Can I ask you?
They say like, yeah, like good coworkers, and everybody's there for the mission and the mission and the mission, and they just keep saying the mission. It's
better.
One of the benefits.
You're not working for an evil company. You're not like propping up a bad company. You're fighting the good fight for your job. So you should just be grateful.
They're saying your benefits are that you get to lay your head on your pillow at the end of the night and know that you're doing a nice thing, but your pillow is like made out of bricks or something because you can't afford an actual pillow.
Yeah. The same pillow that you had in middle school that you brought with you to college and into your job.
Yeah. You're like sleeping in like a studio apartment. Your bed, you have to put your bed back up in the wall when you get up. But, you're doing all the right stuff. Social worker's an interesting job to me because it was something that I was going to do. Like, very close.
Good. It's a good field.
Yeah, I was very close to getting in that field before Street Fight hit. And then it did, the vibes I got from job interviews that I did really were that, like, that you're being taken advantage of. Because because you're passionate about helping people and you want to help people and they know you want to do the right thing. But like every job I applied for was making like $11 an hour or like 10. And it was just like no benefits and on call 24 hours a day every 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it was just like, well, I want to help people, but like this is more than I want to help. I do want to help. Like I don't know. Like I've been thinking a lot lately about like, are there things that me and Brett can do or that I can do that is like sort of, helping kids learn how to do comedy or something like that I can do. I can do on my own hours because like it seems like the hours that a lot of you get at like nonprofits or as social workers are pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's terrible. You're just on call all the time.
Yeah.
I was the one therapist for 22 kids in a residential program.
Jesus.
And so if something went wrong, I got called all the time.
Like how hard is that workload? Like for 22 kids, dealing with 22 kids.
So it's like you're doing an hour of therapy with each kid and then a group. So that's like 23 hours of your week right there. Of your 40-hour week, theoretically, is just bam, filled automatically. And then whatever paperwork you have to do, any crisis situation that comes up, all that kind of stuff. And so it just like your week just builds and builds and builds very, very quickly.
Is it, and do you get time and a half for your overtime or is it salary?
It is salary.
Oh, fucking salary. The biggest
scam. So doing like 60-hour work weeks,
Oh my God.
Because you get a crisis situation that can land for hours and hours, and you got like a 14-year-old with severe mental health issues, Oh
yeah, and you're not, and they know that you're not just going to leave them to their own devices. Like they know that it's impossible to kind of, it's impossible to separate yourself from that kind of thing. And
absolutely, because you love the kids. You're not going to leave,
Yeah, it's hard not to like. I mean, as much as we make fun of teens and stuff on the show, like they're fully formed people, and it's hard not to like them,
Yeah.
As much as
but really, I was just going to say, really, my job wasn't even the worst one. Because it's a residential program, which means the kids live there. They're in state custody, and they got all these behavioral issues and mental health issues. And one thing that I really want people to know about, these kids that are, the most vulnerable kids is that they are being raised and cared for by McDonald's workers. Because, the frontline staff, the people who actually work with the kids and work 12-hour shifts and are with them all day and all night, are getting paid $9 or $10 an hour to care for these kids.
Fuck. There was
and to get spit on and kicked and cussed out constantly and keep these kids on schedule and help them do school and they're getting paid $9 or $10 an hour.
Fuck,
so
man.
They can leave at any time and go work at Chick-fil-A and make $13 an hour.
Right. Right. And
yeah,
it's
that's
passion.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the people that should be in charge of kids like that at all.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know about... It's weird when you start talking about dealing with troubled kids, right? Because I do think that there are people that hold jobs like that. For instance, I think I could deal with troubled
they are
teens.
fantastic people.
Yeah, I feel like
But
I
it's
could
not
do-
standard.
Yeah.
I mean, most people have pretty bad instincts when it comes to raising kid and turning a kid around.
Right, but I'm saying that
That's who we're competing with, though, is fast food restaurants for these employees. We're,
I'm saying that, I guess what I'm saying is I think there are people that don't have a degree that could really still help,
but not enough that you should
teenagers.
just throw.
absolutely.
You should just throw anybody that can fill out a resume at these kids.
I agree.
It's not a high enough number.
The job is worth more than $10 an hour.
For sure.
That's just. I mean, all jobs
Absolutely.
are worth more than $10 an hour. But this seems like one of those jobs that if you went and told people that people are making. If you went and asked people what you think that the people are making at those places, they would say $100,000 a year probably. Just that's what cops make. That's what prison guards make. That's what people that work at hospitals make. They're $90,000 a year or something like that.
Yeah. And
when you find out that they're making minimum wage, it is pretty shocking. I know somebody that worked at I know somebody that worked at a juvenile detention center. And had to quit because she was just racked with guilt about the whole thing and couldn't work there anymore. And she's like, they're not helping these kids. They're not rehabilitating these kids. They're just warehousing these kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it sounds like when you run into troubled kids, they just throw them in a facility and they institutionalize them and hope that they find their way when they turned 18. Just kick them out on their ass when they turn 18 and hope they find their way.
Yeah. Or make money off jailing them. But we actually, I was remembering. I talked to with Lubitsa from the Cold Pizza Party podcast. She was doing a fundraising nonprofit stuff. So they got her to come all the way to D.C. and then changed her job drastically 6 months later, and she was stuck there. But she said it was constantly just fundraising was all they ended up doing. It was all right, we got a big fundraiser coming up. Everybody needs to work real hard on this fundraiser. And then it was over. It was time to plan the next fundraiser.
So it's party organizer?
Yeah.
What did you say? It was just
she said it was...
that's how nonprofits are funded,
Yeah, startup
just
culture.
Constantly fundraising and,
Just angel investing.
They would
the whole time thing.
Yeah. We'd have our kids, and so they live, on the site for, 6 months to a year that they're there, right? It's their home. And then they do a big fundraiser, and they'd give us $500 to take the kids and go see a movie and get dinner so that we weren't there, so that they could bring in all the donors and clean the place up so that people could see look at what all your money is going to. But they never wanted them interacting with the kids.
Right. They just the fantasy. They want to be told what's happening.
Yeah.
And in here the kids are doing this and that, and they're oh, that is so bad. I mean, it is such an unrestricted environment. I mean, you saw what happened with this whole Chicago charity that Jay-Z directed all that money towards, and the horrible conditions that they operate under. I mean, people don't know what's going on at all with this stuff.
Yeah, and the refugee camps too. I know like the funding for them. They're talking about all their money that they're spending on that, and like I know how much we get per diem for our kids. You know, we get a rate per kid and all that, and it's so much more than what they're allotting for those refugee camps.
Wow.
So I understand like the conditions, you know.
Right.
Like,
You can, yeah, you know, wow, that is really fucking tough. That's awful. Well, thanks for calling in with that info. That's a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Have a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. Well, it's not weird, actually. It is that the country, the cities, the states that we live in, they don't care about like bad kids, basically. Like and they're not bad kids. I'm not saying bad kids, right? Like I don't want people to take this as that like I think that there are kids that are born bad that are bad, you know, but I was like a bad kid. I wasn't
What they
born
call
bad.
them.
Yeah.
It is the common, that's what people call them.
Yeah, and like I saw like juvenile detention, and I saw group homes like destroy people.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, just people that got sent away and came back, and it's like, you know, we really have to send, like, did we really have to send this guy away because he stole somebody? He like broke into somebody's house and stole like their Nintendo or something.
Yeah.
And like, do we really got to send this guy away for a year for that? Like, he's fucking 13.
Yeah.
I don't think he even has a concept of what time in jail is, what a year is.
Yeah.
He only lived through 13 of them, you know? And like everybody I know that, I don't know anybody that went to juvenile detention growing up that's still alive or not in jail, you know?
Yeah.
Which shows that it doesn't do anything.
Right. It's not the answer.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, kids don't need to get, I mean, like I did see on Bernie Sanders things that, on his criminal justice reform, like the main thing that I saw in there that I really liked was that no more trying children as adults. Like if they're minors, they're minors. You try them as minors. You do not try them as adults, which is to me, I think that's I mean, I don't even care if you're fucking 17. You can't be tried as an adult. I just saw a story yesterday from Dateline on my feed of this guy that got thrown in jail when he was 17. And he, in 1953, he got into a fight with a guy in jail, and he killed him. Self-defense, or, you know, or he's in a fight. It doesn't fucking matter how it happened or whatever, but he spent the time from when he was 17 to 80. He's 83 now. He's the longest serving prisoner in the United States. And, like, there are so many people that have been in prison since they were 15, 16, 17 years old that aren't probably even going to get out. And we don't do anything. Like, we can't. It feels so hard to, like, even think about how to get them out of there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and try to change it and see how mad people get about it. I mean, folks don't want to spend any money on this. They're not looking to do anything besides keep the status quo going.
Right. And
we aren't. It's very hard to make big changes in this manner because even there aren't any candidates that are talking about it that aren't just, you know, the Hail Mary candidates that aren't going to win, you know?
Right. I mean, yeah. Bernie Sanders is leading right now.
Okay.
But it is also a thing of like
he's playing, but he's playing whose game? The Democrats' game.
Right.
He's playing their game.
And it is one of those things that's like, is he going to be able to do anything about mass incarceration? Does anybody? I hope.
Well,
I hope the president can do stuff about that. I know
they can lock extra people up. We know that.
I do know that the president can be like, don't prosecute people for shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's cut the shit with the prosecuting. But I don't know, man. It feels like I hope I'm using this word, but like an intractable problem. It feels like a problem that is like, it has been created. It's so big now, but it also feels like we have to. It feels like no, we have to let like a ton of people out of prison.
Yeah, a lot.
It's like a lot of them. Like most of the people in prison.
Pretty much all of them. Yeah,
we have to let them out. I don't know if there is anybody that should get a life sentence. I don't know. Like, I don't have in my mind, like, I can't imagine that we have a system, or I can't imagine that in my world, in my ideal world, we wouldn't have a system that could rehabilitate and redirect somebody to something else that's not crime. And again, we've talked about this we talked about this last week on the show. Like, most crime is like desperation.
Yeah.
You know, most carjackings even are desperation.
Yeah.
And that's what people are freaked out about. That's the shit you're freaked out about. You're freaked out about that stuff. There's a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, get rid of desperation,
Right.
which is pretty easy if everybody's taken care of. You
Yeah,
know?
go to the neighborhood and fix people's roads.
No.
How about you go to the crime neighborhoods and provide the services that you provide to every other fucking neighborhood, you know?
Right. All they ever do, the only construction or civic projects they do in neighborhoods with high crimes is like install those cameras on the light poles. That's it. That's the only thing
They put up little blue and red lights that blink all night long.
Yeah. They're not gonna go out there and like actually do anything. You know, or like, and I don't want the police running around in there anyway because they don't do anything right.
Yeah, no, there's no real, then there's really no, there's no desire to alleviate the issue. I mean, there's enough people that make money with the way things are. They don't want to try. They wouldn't want to alleviate someone's poverty because it would just take a lot more effort than going with the flow and cashing checks like they do.
Yeah, and you know, it's weird to think about because it is like we are just warehousing people that probably the only reason we're warehousing them is because they don't have
money.
Money.
Yeah. And
they're being warehoused because they don't know what else to fucking do with them.
Yeah.
And they just throw them in prison. And there are just so many people. I don't think that the majority of people who commit crimes, like even violent crimes, are like unfixable, and I don't think that they're doing it for fun or kicks, or I don't think there's very many people that do things like that for kicks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a transitional period for sure. There's some now that I don't mind if they get fucking put down, but but let's see who's on the phone next here. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who we talking to?
Hey, what's going on? This is Bobby in Maryland.
What's up, Bobby? How's it going tonight? How's everything in Maryland?
Things are all right. I did get out of like an all day long education thing for like young Filipino Americans, trying to get them like radicalized and stuff. So that was like my whole day.
What was it? What
sort of like reaching out?
What kind of stuff were you doing?
Sorry,
like what kind of stuff was it like? Were they like teens or like what was the meeting?
Some of them, it was like a mix of like, you know, some teens, some like college age folks, some grad students, and also some elders who were there. And like this, with the stated goal, like me and my friends, the Tagalog word for comrade is kasama. So me and my kasamas just kind of like being like, hey, I know a lot of you are involved with causes here in the States, progressive causes, things like Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ rights, Medicare for all and stuff. Let's do an education about what things are like for our people back home and how things relate to the way things are in the U.S. and things like that. So that was like my whole day.
Okay.
We started like in the morning and went to like 4.
Okay. How do you think it went? Like how do you think the people responded to what you were saying?
You know, I think they really took it to heart. It was like a good educational session. It seems like they learned a lot. Even some of like the elders that we were talking to, a lot of it was like some of them who were raised in the Philippines were covering topics like in history and current day where they're kind of like, you know what, being for real, they didn't teach me that in school.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know, they never taught me this. Like because a lot of the thing is the public education system that was set up in the Philippines was originally made by the United States when they colonized the Philippines. So everything in the education system is very pro-U.S. So that's like the sort of system that they grow up in.
It's kind of like ours.
U.S. is how we yeah. But like sort of like this whole like foreign countries telling you through the education system how great their country is and how you should be more like them. And sort of like breaking that spell out of their mind. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's hard enough to do it here, right? Like, it is hard enough to figure out how to talk people into maybe not believing everything that, because I think like so many people get out of high school, and if they don't go to college, which I don't think everybody should have to go to college to find this out. I like that's not something I believe, but that people like get out of high school here and they think that they've learned everything. Like they learned history. Oh, I learned the history. And I'm kind of learning watching my daughter go through school. Like, man, you like really do learn like a narrow version of history. History is very short in high school, in public school systems here. I can't imagine what they're doing in the Philippines, in a place where I know we've done fucked up shit too.
Yeah, especially like, for example, like my parents, like when they went to school, starting around like when they were 5, the big thing when they start going to school is you speak English now in school. Like once you become 5.
Okay.
And you don't speak any of your native languages because that's just sort of the idea is we want you to train you to be exported as cheap labor to the United States once you become high school age. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Like my parents were fortunate enough to go to college. Yeah, my parents did go to college, which was fortunate for them. But for other Filipinos, it's kind of like once you get to 16, 17 in the public school system, it's kind of like, hey, we're not teaching you general ed anymore. Now we're teaching you how to be a domestic worker, or we're teaching you how to do like automotive work or whatever, so that you can go to the States and send money home because you speak English already. And like these contract companies sort of prey on poor Filipinos. It's a whole mess. Without getting into I could be here talking for hours, and I don't really want to do that to you.
No, I mean, no, it's incredibly interesting. I mean, it's definitely illuminating for me, so I appreciate sharing that.
Right, I'm pretty interested in how other countries or other cultures are learning about history, or especially the places that we've done like imperialism to, like places that we colonized or whatever. It's like so do they get like so I'll ask this in the school district I grew up in, for the kids, me being one of them, actually, for the kids who weren't able to I'm trying to think, for the kids that weren't able to fit in, or that maybe weren't great at who maybe weren't great at doing school. You know what I mean? They would send them to something called OWE, and they would go work at McDonald's or as a janitor in the high school or something like that. Like that's what they would just go do that as their job. And half of the day at school, half the day there. Is that kind of what goes on? Is it like if you're in public school there and you're not like a rich person, you basically get to 15 or 16 and they're like, go get a job now. Like you're going to just go to work.
I mean, for people who are like sort of like in the poorest circumstances at a certain point, they're just not in school anymore. Like they're either being forced into low-paying contract work in the cities, or they're working out in the countryside. Because the thing is with how it works in the Philippines, like when you're talking about the proletariat there, you have workers in the cities, but you also have a class of landless peasants, which, like, when you're getting into like Marxist analysis, like landless peasants are different from the working class proletariat because of the level of development they have. So you have like large swaths of people who are not allowed to own any land, but they work that land. And they're sort of kept in this cycle of perpetual poverty, partially because they refuse to update any sort of like farming equipment. The Philippines still farms using carabao to pull plows, so like water buffalo. They don't use tractors or anything like that. This makes it so that, poor peasants don't have time to read. They don't have time to organize amongst themselves. Even though they are able to organize, there's organizing going on. It's just that it eats up more of their time spent like doing more manual labor. Because like, for example, like the Philippines is like the number 8 rice producer in the world. And rice is a very like labor intensive crop. Like you have to do a lot of it by hand, even if you have machinery. But the labor saving part, like when you're preparing the land for it, can be done with machines, but they still make them use water buffalo in their bare hands to do it.
Wow.
And then of course, the peasants don't own the land they farm. It's a landowner that owns it. So they're not even able to keep what they make in most cases.
Jesus. That sounds like a great, like that sounds like the feudal system almost.
Yeah, what we call it, the way we talk about it, we call the Philippines, the character of the Philippines is semi-colonial, semi-feudal.
Okay.
Is how we talk about it. So semi-colonial because it's not officially a colony of the U.S. anymore, but it's still dependent on the U.S. for, for economic assistance, and military assistance in one sense, and then semi-feudal because they still have a class of landless peasants, even though formally the landed gentry is gone. Even though a lot of the rich landowners who own the large haciendas in the Philippines, some of them are the people who were granted haciendas during the Spanish time, like 500 years ago. And it's the same families that own this land, you know?
Yeah, I'll say this. That's a capitalism. Because we have that here. I mean, there are people that were just granted land because they happen to be around and were able to just take it. You know, they just took a bunch of land and now they're, you know, rich and they have shit.
Yeah.
Well,
but the cool thing about the curriculum that we teach is like it's a very good like basic curriculum for people, like a crash course, and it's the same curriculum that organizers in the Philippines teach to the landless peasants who can't read. It's just they use it using pictures. They go out into the provinces and they've set up a whiteboard, draw pictures, and they explain to landless peasants like the concepts of capitalism, Marxism, and stuff. So because they're not stupid, right? No. They have a lived experience and they can comprehend these concepts. It's just that they can't read. So you can break it down and show it to them. So we're teaching the same curriculum they teach out in the countryside, just here in the States, with PowerPoint.
And how do people get involved with it? Like how do you get people to take the class?
Sort of like it's just sort of, you know, getting out there and recruiting people from different orgs. Like you try to find where the Filipinos are at and also the sympathetic people. In like, say, there's like a DSA meeting. Oh, I met a Filipino guy because it's all white people except for this one guy. or like, you know, hey, or like a lot of times a good place to find them is church. You know, because Filipinos congregate around Catholic churches a lot. That's a good place to find them. You know, schools, things like that. Like certain schools have a large Filipino population. Like either like high school or like colleges usually will have like a Filipino club, and you can sort of like the Filipino club won't do political education. They'll just be doing like dances and cultural stuff. So you kind of like wedge your way in there and be like, hey, what's up? You want to talk about capitalism? And then kind of weasel your way in there. But it's pretty good. Before I go, I did want to tell a funny work story that's real quick, if that's all right.
No,
that's great.
Please do.
Go for
it.
Yeah. So like for my day job, or I guess my night job, I'm an EMT for my normal job, and the funny thing about that is that I'm sober. Like I don't drink, I don't smoke anymore. And because sober EMT is funny because all you run into is people who are high and drunk all the time.
Right.
So like I think it was like Friday night. Ran into this patient. We'll call her Becky to protect the innocent. And maybe like 19, 20-year-old lady who like essentially she ran out of a bar like in front of a bus. The bus stopped. She's fine. But she's just like running out in the street yelling at people. So we had to try to convince her to go to the hospital.
Okay.
And you know, she's like, I can't really get her information because she lost her wallet and her friends left her. And I'm just telling her, like, Becky, just please, for the love of God, just help me out. Just lay down in the stretcher, please. We can take you to the hospital. Because she's going to fall down and hit her face.
Yeah.
She's, like, stumbling everywhere. And I'm trying to get her to do it, and she just goes, no. No. And I was like, okay, Becky, why? And she keeps calling me Evan. I don't know why. I didn't tell her my name was Evan. But she goes, because, Evan, I feel that if I lay down there, then Jesus has me. It's over. What are you talking about? So eventually we convince her to lay down. And we take her maybe like 5-minute ride to the hospital, and she's just being drunk, saying drunk stuff. And when we get there and we get up to the emergency room, we get to the nurse's workstation. And then she just looks at all the nurses and the doctors, and she leans over to me, sort of like cupping her hands like she's trying to whisper to me.
No.
And then she just goes, but she's being real loud. She goes, Evan, everybody here is so old.
Oh my God.
And like the nurse, the charge nurse, like, who the fuck is this person? Anyway, the charge nurse wasn't amused. I was, because I was about to go home.
Yeah.
It was like 1 a.m. So the charge nurse just came on, so she was upset. So that was that. And then the call after that was pretty funny. And this is like a 5-second story if I can tell it. But
yeah. No, go for it.
Called 911, and he had like one really red, itchy eye. And I asked him, I was like, dude, so what's going on? He's like, I think I have pink eye. And I just go, hey man, how do you think you got pink eye? And he just yells, eating booty. Ah! And I'm laughing. The driver's laughing. We're all laughing. And that dude was actually real chill because he was high too. So we actually just kind of shot the shit for the 5 minutes it took to take him to the hospital, just telling stories.
That's why. I mean, that job is
wash
one
your
of the
hands.
ones that's one of the jobs that's like, you know, I wouldn't mind if you didn't have to have. If it was like driving around and dealing with drunk people, I think I'd be good at that. It's the actual medical stuff that would then be the problem with me. But if it was just like, if there was a job where you just like drove around and like mediated problems between drunk people, I've done that so much in my life. Like, I'm probably like Malcolm Gladwell would consider me an expert in dealing with drunk people that want to kick each other's asses.
Yeah. Brian is California sober, so he doesn't drink, and like drinking is where people really do get out of their minds. So
It's the worst.
And you've probably done 10,000 hours of mediating drunk conversations at this point.
Right. It just,
You've actually done 10,000 hours also of explaining logic to a drunk person.
oh my God. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I have done that. I mean, it's like you talk to. They're so difficult to talk to, but I have found that you can get them. They're agreeable. You can make them be agreeable.
Yeah, you have to charm them. It's like a snake charming thing.
It's not charm. Here's what it is. And I hate to give my secret away, but it's kind of like this. You're like, well, you're drunk, right now, and you're obviously not in your right mind. You're like, let's be
I hate
honest
you
here.
already. I
You're
hate you
kinda
already.
Stupid. And let me explain something to you, and then you think about it tomorrow when you're sober. And then a lot of times they'll like cool down a minute and be like, yeah, I get it, man. Okay. And then you can talk to them. But generally,
So you just basically meet them right there and say, "Hey, you're fucked up right now. You're like way too fucked up."
I mean, if you don't tell people that, if you don't talk to people, like, like if you try to talk to somebody that's drunk and then not acknowledge that they're drunk, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they're just impossible to deal with, and yeah, I mean, you know, I've done a lot of time also just standing in the middle of the street with a guy with his shirt off, like holding on to him so he doesn't go punch somebody else at the party.
Sure. And that's all they need is someone to hold them back so they don't really have to do it.
I know. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me. It's good. Keep up the good work. I love the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, I think when you're dealing with a super drunk person in public, there's more problems than when you're just like at a house party or something like that, or you're just hanging out with people. But I think I could do it. I think like
we're gonna jump in the minivan. I'll keep the doors open on the side, and we'll drive down High Street, and you'll just jump out and just start helping people. Just start mediating problems.
Like here's the thing. I have like been like I'll get donuts on High Street, and the donut shop's on campus, or you know, just anytime I happen to have to go to campus for something at night on the weekend, and it's like a lot of people yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of problems happening and people arguing and yelling at each other and then separating and getting back together and breaking up and, you know, falling in love and stuff like that. It's just like, this seems like, you know, I don't like respect the police, but I don't know how they stand out there all night and watch.
I one time shut down a fight. There was a super drunk guy at this bar, and they just were like, became one of those Tasmanian devil balls of like expletives. And I just got in the middle of the whole thing. But when we got outside, the guy was so drunk that he could like barely stand up. And it was like this super huge dude that was like mad at him about something he said. And I said something to the effect of like, everybody knows you can kick this stupid guy's ass. You don't need to do it. Please don't get the cops around here. He's like, that's fucking right. That is fucking right. And he walked inside. I was like, thank God. This didn't turn into I didn't want to, because this kid was so pathetic. It was just some stupid mouthy kid and he would have just got completely clobbered by this dude.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't have wanted to see him get clobbered.
No,
And
I mean, I'm
also,
like, don't
appealing
stop.
to the tough guy's toughness is that is a good
Well,
move.
he's in charge because he could have beat me up too. Like I wasn't going to beat him off of the guy. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, what would you have done if the fight, like you were just going to step
Oh, I
away
usually-
if the fight
Oh
started?
no, I usually try to grab people because they won't hit you if you try to take them off.
Yeah.
I've interject myself in fights before.
I guess
They
if
don't
you're-
usually go after the person that's trying to pull them off.
Right, yeah, it's because unless you're part of the party.
Unless you're, like,
and,
really
if-
fucked up.
Well, I'm saying, like, because I've been in situations.
Oh yeah, I mean you got to be a stranger.
Yeah, you
You
can't.
can't be like a friend of a friend. No, you're catching an
You'll get
elbow.
punched.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that, like, I've been in situations where, like, I'll never forget this. There's a Halloween party. Or no. It was a St. Patrick's Day party, okay? Everybody's just getting hammered in this garage. This is, like, a couple years before I even knew you. And everybody's getting hammered. There's this guy there that is dressed like a leprechaun, and he looks ridiculous. And he hated that another guy showed up that was his girlfriend at the time's ex-boyfriend. And it was just like, hey, man, we had told him earlier in the night, like, this guy might show up, you know, are you cool with that? And he was like, yeah, I don't care, you know, whatever. If he wants to show up, he can show up. And then he fucking got hammered and was sitting across the garage. And it was one of those fucking moments where you know something bad's gonna happen, but it hasn't quite happened yet. Like there's a real thing that happens in a situation like
your
this.
brain starts putting it together.
Right. There's a person on one side of the room and there's a person on the other side of the room. And then all of a sudden you hear a person that's not anywhere near that person saying, oh, I don't give a fuck what he thinks. You know, or, oh, I don't, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh no, he's talking about that guy, and that guy doesn't know that he's talking about him yet.
Yeah.
So then almost got in a fight, but then, like, we had to stand in the street with this dude. He, like, took his shirt off. He kept lunging for the guy, right? And it was like, dude, just
Stop, please.
Stop. And he would lunge, stop. And then finally, like, one of my friends just grabbed him around like a hug and locked his hands and had to stand there and talk to him, like, while he was in a hug with him. Like, can you please, like, stop lunging at this guy? The police are going to fucking come here because we're out in the street yelling right now and somebody's definitely going to call. And we were somehow able to get him to go in the house and go to bed. And, like, that's the other thing. Like, if you're ever dealing with a drunk person, getting them to go to bed is the move.
Dude, we were outside Old Surly Girl one time. It was snowing out, and I saw these two people fighting. There's, like, blood all over the snow, and I jumped out of the car. There was a guy on the ground. He was on the ground. He was about to boot this dude's fucking head off.
Yeah.
And I jumped in, and I gave him the bear hug, and, like, I was very small at the time, but thank God it was slippery, and, like, we fell, and it, like, broke it up. Because everybody was just standing there horrified while this guy was, like, on all fours, and, like, blood is, like, dripping from his face, and this dude is, like, ready to tee his fucking head off. And I just jumped out of the car and grabbed the guy, and then it was, like, a big calamity, and then I jumped back in the fucking car, and we drove away. Because after I broke it up, other people grabbed the guy, and, like, everybody else fucking intervened.
It takes one person.
One person has to break. It's like dancing. I mean, one person has to just break the seal, and then other people will get brave, you know?
True. I just, the other day, before we take the next call, I can tell this story. It's funny. So yesterday I was out walking, and I was downtown, and a guy stopped me on the street. He said, dude, bro, there's a car on fire over there. And I turned around and looked, and there was a car on fire. Like,
Right.
It was on real fire. I sent
Yeah, you
Fred
sent
a picture.
yeah.
And it was
The
like,
whole front end was
Yeah.
engulfed in flames.
it was on real fire. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go gawk at that. So I turned around, and it was downtown on a Saturday. So it was downtown on a Saturday. So there weren't many people down there, but every single person was watching this car be lit on fire, right? The guy that hit me to it was waiting at the bus stop when I met him. He was, like, just getting off work. He was wearing his work clothes, and he was waiting at the bus stop. So, dude gets on the bus, right? Takes it one stop forward, gets off the bus, and goes fucking running at the car, yelling, is there anybody in there? Is there anybody in there?
He got on the bus, and then he got ate up watching it. He was like, there's a baby in there.
And it was like, no, why would somebody be in there? There was like a lot of warning before anything, but because like when a car lights on fire, it doesn't just automatically, the doors don't seal shut.
It's smoke. It starts smoking, and then you're like, that's enough smoke that we need to jump out of this fucking thing.
Yeah, and this dude is just like, is there anybody in there? And I'm like, no, there's not. He's like, did they get out? And I'm like, yes, they got out. Did they get out? And I'm like, yes. And he fucking takes off running towards the car, and this other guy by me was like, dude, don't run to the car. And then we had to run up and pull this guy away from running up to a car to, I assume, save people. But it was like, if you were really like into saving these people, you probably wouldn't have jumped on the bus and it took the bus to the next stop. Like, what was he saying on that bus is all I can think about. It's like, what was he in there? Like, this car on fire? There's probably somebody in there burning to death. And it was like, still, when I took the picture, Brett, I took the picture 10 minutes after I saw it, and it was just the front of the car that was on fire. They were like able to just walk right out the door and get out. So I don't know. It was interesting.
So wants to be a hero.
There were and there were like 50 people filming it on their phones. Like, people just fucking converged on it.
Yeah, man.
And were with their phones, like, filming it. Like, oh my God. Like, every person was doing, like, their own commentary. Like, oh my God, bro. This car's on fire. Oh my God, this car, like, they were all doing their commentary.
So I just walked up down the street, and then I turn, and then this car's on fire. I don't know. Nobody knows what's going on.
But I think this dude was really wanted to be a viral hero. Like, I think, like, in his mind, I don't think he was, like, as cynical as I'm thinking about it, but I think there something.
I mean, he wasn't paying attention to the people that were like, stop doing that. He's like, I have to go save them. No, I'm going to give my life right now. I want everybody, my intention is to give my life for another human being. Can I get it on record?
It was great. It was.
Love it. All right, let's get on these calls. They're building up a little bit.
Oh, no.
I can tell more heroic tales of breaking up fights, but don't. We'll save that for another time. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, what's up? It's Lonnie out of Philly.
What's up, Lonnie?
What's up, Lonster?
No, I got two stories for you guys I think you're going to like. One is like more like a Brian thing, but the other one I think everyone's going to like.
Let's go for it.
The first
You could have said it was
is,
a Brett thing.
Well, it's this. Just see in a sec. So I used to work, this was a long time ago, like 2004, 2005. I was working in one of those white vans that sold speakers. I'm sure you guys have seen them.
Really?
Like, yeah.
What now?
Wait, like legitimately or like as a scam?
Oh, it's a scam.
Okay.
I worked it like as a job.
Got it.
So were you
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You pulled up to people at the gas station and you said, hey, I deliver speakers all day. We got some extra ones here. If you're interested, these JBLs are only $150 a pair today, right? Something like that?
Okay, now I got to...
That's almost verbatim.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that's my backup plan.
And it's happened to me 100 times.
Yeah, it has happened to me a billion times, too.
What is it about me and Brett that I would
They
be
know that
sitting
we
in
want
my
stolen
van.
electronics and we won't tell.
I was sitting in my work van. If I was sitting in my work van eating lunch or something like that, I would always get somebody in a box truck pulling up and fucking telling me oh man, somebody canceled their appointment on these speakers. And I can sell them to you for $85. I always turned them down, but I always wondered why they picked me. I guess.
So, can we help out the listeners of Street Fight? Give them a little value added bonus here. Like, so what are you actually getting when you buy the speakers?
You're getting like, I mean, I can't speak for all of them, but the box like is like some like off-brand name that sounds it'll be like a Booze or something like that, like an ADL, like some type of off-brand shit, and they'll say like you say it fast, so like people don't actually know what you're saying. And
Brett would buy that. Brett would like actually buy that happily.
I would, yeah. I'm like, this is just private label shit, dude. They just make them in the same factory and they just put SUNY on it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, they sounded fine. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like they weren't good, but like it's like you want speakers out of a truck.
I remember there was one of those expensive speakers. They broke them open and basically One of them was stuffed full of styrofoam, but on the more expensive one, they took the styrofoam out or something. Like they just basically made it like they deliberately crippled the lower model and then made you pay more to get one that was like not as dysfunctional. Bose did that a while ago. Yeah. I gotta remember what someone's gonna send it to me. I know there's some audiophile person because I remember it was fucking hilarious.
Right. So what was your profiling method? Can I ask? Like how did you?
Yeah, we got a million. Everybody else, just get off the fucking lines. We have a real big fish here.
We do.
We got a whale of a call here.
We really have like this is the most important call we've ever taken on this show. What is your method for profiling the person that you're going to sell it to? Like, what would make me an attractive, me eating Wendy's in my work van, what would make that a person that you pull up to? Was this a game of numbers, or were you profiling people?
It's a little bit of both, but like here's like the way I did it, and what I would do, or what we would do, because I was always working in teams, because I didn't make it like super far. I was only doing it for a little while, like less than a month, like to be perfectly frank. But what I would do. Okay.
This is just my question is a little bit different from Brian's arena, but I think it'll paint the full picture. Were you buying these things yourself and reselling them, or was there like a warehouse full of stuff that people let you take and try to sell? Like, how did you get the gig?
Okay. I got the gig because I was 18 and like just got out of college, or just got out of high school, right?
Uh-huh.
I didn't want to go to college. I was broke as shit, and I just saw, and this is how long ago it was. I saw an ad in the paper that said make $1,400 a week.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'll make $1,400 a week. Yeah, it sounds outstanding.
Gladly.
Write your own paycheck.
Yeah, it was that type of shit. And I'd never seen anything like that before. I had no experience. So like I called the number in the newspaper, and I go to like this shit warehouse out in like the middle of nowhere. And there's like a dirt bike that's taken apart inside, and like these two shitty desks and like roughed up carpet and shit. And these two dudes sitting at a desk who you'd be like, these guys like their nicknames like Slick.
Yeah, they're always like sharks.
Like that, like
yeah,
like thin mustache, like silk shirt type of guys. And I just I apply for the job, and they like interview me from bullshit questions, whatever. And then they call me like 20 minutes after I leave, and like, you get the job, show up tomorrow like 8 a.m. So that's how I got into it.
So it's basically some people import a whole bunch of cheap speakers, and then they hire people to be their sales staff, but they have like zero brick and mortar stores. They just rely on you driving around and harassing people to buy speakers.
Yeah, it's a storage unit. They set up a desk in a storage unit.
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, this is our warehouse, this is our location.
But you're not
like their tax forms.
So you're actually selling just like knockoffs, cheap speakers that aren't name brand, but for an incredible price.
Right. Yeah. Like the speakers, they work. It's not like you get like a box full like
sure.
cinder blocks or something
okay.
like that. Like they did like work.
Well, people do that though. People
magazine.
I'm sorry. People do
fake
sell
magazine
them.
with like those speakers in it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
People do sell them.
People sell
it's
like
rare, but it's like.
But you were just I get it now. It's like basically you were doing an Amazon ad live in person where like it just shows up in front of you. It's like, hey, we've got these huge speakers you could put in your living room. They're $69.48 right now, and you're like, fuck, I think I would buy those. If you showed me a gigantic pair of speakers and they were less than $100 and you let me listen to some rap music on them, like I'd probably fucking buy them in that parking lot.
I mean, they always brought them out of the car in the box for me too.
Yeah,
and, it had a great picture on the box of like what it looks like in your living room with the sound bar and the two things up along the side, and like it's surround sound. And I almost bought them one time. I kind of wish I had now that you're saying that they actually work, because I just kind of was like, it's probably like a box of sand or something like that, and I didn't want to get ripped off. But because I have talked to people who have went and bought things on Craigslist and not looked at them, and then came out on the other end and they just like got a brick in a box or something like that. And I would recommend checking.
Oh man, all back in the day, all them PS2s got sold on eBay that were just a box.
Yeah, it's genius.
$450 box.
Yeah.
It's genius. So how did they did you have a team? Did you have a cool team of dudes to go out and ride around and do this with?
No, it was all very sketchy. Like everybody who worked there who had been there for a long time were very sketchy, and it kind of put me on edge.
It was it was like just a criminal organization. It was like joining a gang.
Yeah, but it was like the payoff wasn't good. Like I'm down to like do whatever, but like I'm not getting paid. Like you only get paid if you sell something.
Yeah.
And while I'm training, they were like, "We'll give you $40 a day," and they expect the guy who's training me to give me $40.
Oh,
and at
shit.
the end of the day, on the first day, and listen to this, at the end of the day, on the first day, we didn't sell anything, so we come back. And they're like, all right, we'll pay him out. And the guy's like, I don't have a fucking dime. So the boss reaches into his pocket and like gives him like the eye while he's like doling out like $220.
Oh my god!
And
they expect you to show up the next day for work.
I know. How many hours were you working? How many hours were you working a day?
It was like 16 hours. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly.
He was so desperate to sell speakers that he just wouldn't stop. It was like, I was like, man, I want
Yeah,
to
that's
go.
the sleazy job that I talk about, the one that's selling the coupons. It was the exact same way. There was a guy that I knew from another job, and he was just like, yeah, man, it's right. It really is write your own paycheck. Some days, like, I've sold so much shit. I've made X amount of dollars in a day. And then I figure out that he's there 6 days a week, and it's like 14 hours a day. And then I'm figuring out how much money can be made, like even at the top level. And I'm like, this is chump change. Why is everybody doing this? I don't understand why the fuck everybody is here doing this right now.
I know. If he would have said, because that's what I always think when I think of like a Lonnie type, you know? The archetype is that he would do it because it's only 4 hours and he comes home with a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, if you could make $100 in 4 hours or something, like,
Yeah.
that would be fucking incredible.
But it's not that. It's
chasing people down all day long and just trying to force a sale to happen. Just really, and I mean, you have to be an asshole. You have to sometimes just go over the boundaries, and you do bully people. Oh, I did sales for a brief period of time, and I hated it. I've came away from it like, if you do something that has to be sold to people, maybe it's not worth it. You know, like it should just be intrinsically something that people decide they want to purchase. Like it shouldn't require you like going down there and being like, no, this is a Sunni. It's just like it. They make it in the same factories. Now I just need a check or a money order or just cash, anything right now from you at this gas station so that I can get $8 from this fucking sale.
It's such a dumbass scam. Yeah. Here's the thing about it. About why it's a dumb scam. Everybody hates having somebody walk up to them. Like, nobody likes to have guys jump out of a box truck and start walking towards you. Like, as you're walking towards me, I'm thinking, like, oh, God, here we go. Fucking something. This could be anything.
And you can feel it, too. Like, you'll feel it before they get there that, like, I got zoned in on. Like, I got to figure a way to get out of this.
Yeah.
This guy makes it all the way over to my, like, my vicinity. But that's what we would do, because we would cruise around parking lots all over like Philly to Baltimore, and then like all around wherever we could go, and we would look for people like you said, like sitting in the work truck eating lunch, and we'd be like, that guy looks broke, I'll probably buy some shit. And
that sounds like that's perfect.
That is great, dude, because when you're broke, nothing makes you feel better than just buying some shit. Like, you're like, you know what, I got enough in the bank account to buy a nice set of speakers for my family. That's exactly what I'm going to do today.
My wife's going to be so impressed.
You're looking in the paper. You're looking in the paper at the speakers at Best Buy, and you're like, maybe one day. And then, like, I pull up to you in a parking lot, like, I got that same shit for like $60.
Yeah, I can get you set up, man. I mean, your Call of Duty is going to sound so fucking loud. You're going to get the neighbors called on you.
Yeah.
God, that is too...
This guy would, like, throw speakers into people's cars. They'd be like, no, I don't want them. He's like, no, you do. Here. And, like, I'll put them in your car for you. And, like shoving them into their hands. It was a desperate situation, man. It was wild.
That is bull. I mean, that is like a racketeering, maybe. I mean, maybe you were involved a little bit. Is that some sort of? That's a mob crime. No, to be like, I'm sorry, pal. I mean, the deal's actually been done. I mean, regardless of what you say, everything's been signed on the dotted line. We have your information. You're taking these things.
No, I mean, like I have been in that. Like I have been in a situation where they won't leave me where they won't stop. You know, where the guy is like really pushy, and I've rolled the windows up and just drove away from him because he didn't seem like he was going to stop.
Yeah.
Like there is something really about
some people will just stand like you when you let someone reach into your pocket, take your money. Someone at the gas station is going to stand there while someone takes their debit card out of their wallet and runs their fucking card and puts the speakers in their car and then puts it all back and drives away.
Yeah, because it's really
they just freeze. People just freeze.
Because it's fucking weird, man. Because like, what are you supposed to say when they like are just like shoving the box in your hand?
Well, when I remember doing sales, it is like you can use people's politeness against them because they would be like, "I am absolutely astonished with your business practice. Good day." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not finished with this conversation." And they'd be like, "Ugh, well, what else do you have to say?" It's like, why didn't you hang up? Why the fuck didn't you hang up on me? What the fuck?
Well, that was the shady thing. The shady thing that I did. I did that shady gas company thing, right? Where you go to the people's doors for the gas. You say like, hey, you know, you want to switch your gas service, which like nobody wants to fucking do because they don't care. They know they're not going to get a deal. You know that if you switch your gas service, you might save $11, but you switch your gas service and you can't do anything.
Yeah, your check's going to bounce. The auto pay is going to go to the wrong fucking place.
Right. And nobody wants to fucking do it. And we would get to the door and like, this dude that I was with, it's funny, he was in a rock band in my high school, so I thought he was like the coolest guy in the fucking world, right? And he would stick his feet in the goddamn door when they would open it, and he would start talking about it, and like, you know how people are where they're like, I'm not interested, I'm not interested, I'm not, and they start repeating it. He would just fucking turn around and just be like, well, I guess you don't like saving money then, and would just walk away. And it was so fucking uncomfortable. And he seemed so mad that they didn't buy it.
Yeah.
It's like, it chased me away from sales for the rest of my life. Like, because I admire people who, like, I admire Lonnie here on the phone. I admire you because you did it. You actually went and you did sales and you can talk about it with some kind of authority. I chickened out. I never did sales. And I couldn't do it, and I'm not the type of person that is able to do it, you know? Like, I don't have it in me. So, I salute you there. I can't believe, I can't believe now I know that, like, everybody was just looking at, those guys were just looking at me and saying, like, this motherfucker looks broke as hell. He's in his work van.
That's the exact thing. That's exactly, and we would, like, every time we saw a cop, we would just, like, get the fuck out of there for whatever reason. I never found out why. But the dude was just like, we gotta go.
Oh, no.
Like, probably because we're pushing people around and, like, getting to buy speakers and shit.
Yeah, I mean, someone might, if someone saw a police officer, they might ask for help from the person that is, like, forcing them to make a purchase.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm dying.
And, like, if you're, like, rolling up the windows for this guy to go away, don't feel bad because he's, like, that's what he's pushing towards. Like, I mean, not gonna stop him to do that. He doesn't feel bad about it. Like, he's just like, oh, you do the best you can, and that's it. You wrap it up. So, like, yeah, if that's what you gotta do, you're not hurting anyone's feelings.
Just drive away, ignore them. You don't owe anybody your time. Get the fuck out of there.
No,
thank you for calling in.
If you got a 5, throw him over one. Yeah. I got another one for you real quick.
We're going to cut this out. This is going to be like one of our Street Fight 101 sections.
No, you're good. You're good. You can keep going. We are not. We are willing to listen to as much as you can.
Well, this is from today, so flash forward, like, whatever, how many years. But I quit my job today, and, like, I was supposed to have meetings in the morning with a bunch of fucking executives. And my boss told me today that the company is docking my holiday pay for Labor Day, the one that just passed. And, like, I couldn't get a hold of him all day. I couldn't get a hold of him, so I just, like, dropped my shit off at the office, and I'm not going in anymore.
Well,
I did the same thing. Hey, with the cable company, the way I quit the cable company was to actually take all my vacation and then fucking come back on the last day with my box of stuff and just quit. Because I knew they weren't going to give me my vacation time. Like, you know.
Yeah.
There's going. I mean,
what they want me to do.
what I always did whenever I make
No,
the
go ahead.
decision to quit, I just do not plan on getting anything that was promised. I have to make the decision and not expecting to get any of my vacation, not expecting to get any of the shit. Like that's how I've always done it.
Yeah.
Anything
Yeah,
I
that's
get
all
is
it
bonus.
It's not like, yeah, because I was like, they want me to do, like, I have meetings set up tomorrow morning that I'm supposed to be at. So I was just like, fuck them. Like, I'm not going in tomorrow. I'm not doing that. So like,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go and get my vacation and leave. I was just like, no, fuck you. You deal with it.
Was it the type
like-
of place that wasn't going to let you do? I mean, was it the type of place that was going to make 2 weeks' notice even just terrible anyway?
Probably. They're probably going to have me do a bunch of extra shit. So fuck it. And this guy's an asshole anyway. I'm like heartbroken about fucking him over.
Yeah. When do you? So, and you have something else lined up, or are you just like, fuck this? I got to
Nah.
get out of here. I'm just leaving.
No, yeah, I don't think that far ahead. Just fucking,
Smart.
I've been
be
there.
done with it.
We are the same guy. So I know how you feel. I know when I quit my job, when I quit that cable job, it was just like, I don't know. I'll go to college or something, I guess. I don't know. That'll buy me a few years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll figure it out in the morning. I'm not dealing with it.
Well, thank you so much for calling. I am endlessly fascinated with sales. Period. Like, I think sales jobs are interesting, but the kind that you were doing is like the kind that, like, what a fucking crazy job. Like, what a situation to run into. And it is weird because when you're looking through the jobs on a Craigslist or in even the classifieds, there's no way for you to know if you're headed into a warehouse with a guy with a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to fucking know that.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it is, I mean, you're just a shakedown artist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was. The sales job I had, there's just so many of them that are the boiler room things where you're just lying and lying and lying and running with it as long as you can and making as much as you can as quickly as possible.
I mean, what was the coupon deal? Can I ask that?
The coupon deal was that they were selling coupons. You would buy, basically, I mean, I would say the coupons, as a coupon person, these were good coupons. They would be like $20 off your whole visit,
Okay.
And you would get two $20 off coupons and like 5 or 6 other ones that were like a free appetizers and things like that.
You have to be highly motivated to use them, though.
Yeah, you'd be highly motivated and you'd have to go there. They expire a year later.
Okay.
But you're paying like $40 and you're going to get $100 worth of value at a restaurant that you go to. But they also said that this was all to raise money for charity. But only at the end of the day, when I talked to the guy, he said 5% of the money goes to charity.
Yeah,
5%
and that 5
of,
don't go either.
It doesn't make it. It probably doesn't make it. It's probably on a to-do list or like an IOU.
Yeah, it's like written down. He's like got a spreadsheet where he takes 5% of what he made every day and he puts it in the spreadsheet and it adds itself up and it lets him know how much he has to give to charity at some point when he starts making the amount of money.
Whenever he gets what he wants. When he finally gets his Rolex. Yeah, I mean, it was, but it was a matter of, grabbing people at the store and just saying, you said this is your favorite restaurant. You should buy this.
No. So
you said you have kids. You said you want, I only did that one day. I didn't even do that. I never had that job. I interviewed and did it one day for 12 hours and thought it was the most, like half at lunch. I was considering, and I really wish I would have just ran home. My parents' house was probably a 20-minute walk away, and I should have just ran home instead of fucking showing up. But there was no like Uber or Lyft at the time. I couldn't have went back and got my car, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude, they took me to Chillicothe, Ohio, which
they
is
would just
45
capture
minutes out of town, and it's like I can't. And
you want to take a break?
Somebody else's car. You want to take? I want to pee.
Okay.
So you take one more call, and then I'll come over here. We'll finish it. And we'll take a break.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be peeing on the break.
You don't want to pee on the break. You want to pee when we're doing the show.
Pee on company time. No, okay, fuck. Let's just take a break. I'll pee.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a few calls. If you're in the queue, we'll get to you.
Oh, I need music. You have to send me music, Brett.
I just sent you some. This is not I have to say that I don't know. I haven't heard this one. Somebody sent it to me, so this is your chance. You got plucked out of the grab bag here. SoundCloud.com/snapdeus.
Said here it's called Screwdriver. The band's name is Screwdriver. I'm kidding.
It's not.
No, I'm kidding. Jeez, you said I didn't listen to it, and I was doing like a joke about how like if you didn't listen to it, then, you know what I mean. No.
If you're a Street Fighter and you have music that isn't registered on whatever the fucking streaming DRM bullshit is that will get our shit taken down, please send it to us. We would love to play it on the show.
We love playing your music. It's a SoundCloud.
SoundCloud Rock, which is, I mean, that's a tough row to hoe in my opinion.
Yeah, this is Snap Deus. We're gonna start with Unsteady, and it's just gonna play through. This looks pretty fucking cool. So, all right, I'm playing it. Jason, you gotta let me know if it's playing. And here we go.
Robbing digits with their
Ah, crumbs. There we go. We're back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Street Fight Radio. It's the call-in show. We're taking your calls tonight, answering your questions, listening to your stories about forcing speakers on people. I'm Brett Payne. He's Murder Brian. You can find us online. We're on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all of that. Street Fight WCRS. I think on Twitch, we're actually Street Fight Radio is the name. It's a different one because Brian set it up. But Street Fight WCRS everywhere else. You can hear us in Columbus, Ohio on WCRS Community Radio. They are the best that there is here in the capital of Ohio. You can find us at 98.3 or 92.7 on your radio dial. So far, so good. If you want more of what we do, I mean, we do a basement show, we do a call-in show, we do the live streams, but we also watch Undercover Boss. We're watching, what was that? What did we watch this week? Undercover Billionaire?
Yeah, we're going to watch the factory thing.
The factory Obama video.
This week. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you like bonus content, we do zines, we do bonus audio, we do bonus video. All of that can be found at patreon.com/streetfightradio. There's so much to get into. Just dive right in. It doesn't cost any money to sign up. You get charged at the first of the month, so give it a try.
What's up?
Free trial period. You want to get on these phone calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight? Hello? Is this a skeleton?
Oh, is it me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is you. What's up? Who's this?
Oh my God, I thought all the flesh had been vaporized from your bones.
What's up? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm well. This is actually my first time calling in. This is Casey from Philly.
What's
also,
up?
you are Spazzy Online.
What's up, Casey?
Yeah,
How's it
not a whole
going?
lot. I spent most of the day stuck in the train terminal of Atlantic City, trying to make my way back. My first time ever taking NJ Transit, and that was for my first Philly Socialist Central Committee meeting.
Oh, how was that?
great.
How was the Socialist Central Committee meeting?
Yeah, it was great. I actually haven't done a whole lot of organizing with them before, but apparently every 3 months or so they pick a couple random members and actually put them on Central Committee for experience and new blood and that sort of stuff.
Nice. So it went pretty well for you today. Is this the first time you've ever done anything with socialists, or?
Oh, no. I've been doing sort of student activism the past couple of years, but this is my first foray into the actual city organizing sort of stuff. But it was great.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to keep working with them.
Nice. So, is it an organization that's like looking for people? Do you need? Did you want to tell people how to get involved?
Hell, I think most organizing bodies need more people in them.
Yeah.
I think Philly Socialist has about 200 or so.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, if you want to get involved, they got a Facebook, they got a website that you can start paying dues through. This month, I think we have a couple of events. The biggest one that we'll probably need people for is the March to End Rape Culture. That's going to be in Philly on the 28th, I believe.
Yeah, go to that. I'm for that. The March to End Rape Culture. I would say that is a good cause to go march at. There's no that's not a gray area. It's a pretty black and white thing, and seems like something you should go do.
Philly's a street fight city. They do a lot of amazing stuff there.
Yeah, it is. And it's just like a cool city. Like it's like I feel I go to a lot of big cities now, and I don't feel close to the people that live in most big cities. When you're talking about New York or Los Angeles or Boston or any of those places, but I understand the people in Philly. Like those are my people. They're a lot like the people I came up around.
Well, hell, we loved you last time you were in town. You got to come back.
Keep an eye out for next May. We will.
Yeah, next May, probably Hellfire Tour is going to hit that up.
Yeah, the Hellfire Congregation
Tour
of Radical Egalitarianism, the Trillbillies, the Sams, and Street Fight. We're in the early planning stages of doing a Northeastern tour in May, at the beginning of May. So we will be in Philly.
Well, shit, can't wait.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, I wanted to say also, I mean, we are going to be in Texas next month in October. Kath Barbadoro is going to open for us. You know her from WrestleSplania. You know her from What a Time to Be Alive. You know her from Lie, Cheat, and Steal. She's going to be also opening for Patton Oswalt, I hear. But before that, she's going to open for Street Fight Radio. And, of course, we're going to bring her out and talk to her. But you can come see us in Austin, Texas on October 14th. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on October 16th, Dallas, Texas on October 17th, and I'm 80% sure Houston, Texas, October 18th, hopefully with Party World Wrestling. It'll be a crossover event of a lifetime.
Yeah, crossing over. Lots of crossovers for us. That's what we do now. We just cross over.
I love doing crossovers.
Right, and we're going to be announcing some cool stuff for the West Coast soon. That's almost done, and there's going to be a bunch of cool crossovers there too. So, it'll be fun. We just used your call as a way to plug our live gigs, so that's something.
Thanks.
Yeah,
no, that's all right.
Thank you for calling. Did you have anything else?
I do have some grievances I'd like to voice, if you don't mind. Not with y'all, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I mean, you could have
More of a
voiced
work
them.
sucks sort of situation.
You could have voiced your grievances with us too. We are pro freedom of speech.
Yeah, we will
here.
we will definitely hear that.
Go for it. Yeah.
Well, I am a college student, and I am currently in a work-study program. I work at one of the dorms on campus, and they have not paid my ass in 3 weeks.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. gee, many Christmas, and they expect you to show up, right?
Well, I didn't show up for work today because, again, they haven't paid me in 3 weeks. But, yeah, I don't know. Actually, it's not even just me. It's all of my department. It's all of the student workers in my department.
Why is nobody getting paid? Do you have an idea of why nobody's getting paid, or have they tried to explain it to you?
They have not even attempted, if I'm being honest. I keep trying to go search out people on the administrative portion of my department. They keep giving me the bullshit answers that managers tend to give, so I don't really have anything.
That's wild. So are they just trying to avoid you? Like, are you like, where's my paycheck? Actively. And they're like, come back in a half hour. Or like, where's my paycheck? It's like, go.
I'm gonna email Rich about that.
Yeah. Have you talked about sweeping the floor? I mean, the floor needs actually swept right now, and we'll get on your paycheck later. I hate jobs. Hey, here's the thing: jobs where they treat your paycheck like a pain in their ass are some of the worst. I was referencing this to Brett the other day because he was out. He's busy. Brett has to pay me out from Patreon, and he was busy, and it doesn't matter. Like I'll be okay. I just have a rent check that like goes in before I get paid because that's the way the world works. And I messaged him. And he got it for me right away. He didn't complain about it or anything like that. But it made me think of all the times that I would be like when I worked at Chuck E. Cheese, for example, when they were like the checks come in at 1 p.m. on Friday, and I would be there at 12:55. Like, are the checks in? Are the checks in?
I do that.
Are the checks in?
No, I do that. I mean, Jason is really fun with it because he doesn't bug me. He just sends and this is so odd. I mean, he's just such a good-natured teddy bear guy, but on the exterior, he was very rough and gruff and doesn't like people. But he always sends me a different emoji each week. Like, he'll just send me his hours as soon as he leaves, and then when I wake up in the morning, if it gets past noon, he'll just send me like an avocado emoji. Like just as like a little ping, like a little fun reminder that like I haven't paid him yet. And like Jake is great because Jake always comes up with a thing. He's like, hey, my texting has been like messing up all day. So just let me know when you do the Venmo request for the money. Like because it's just, I understand it, but being on the other side, sometimes I do want to like wring all y'all's necks.
Oh, I mean,
it's so hard to be on the other side of it sometimes.
Oh, I understand. Like I always.
But it's like that's my position, though.
Right, and bad cop. We mentioned this on. I just did the POD cast with John Cullen, and I was talking about how I have such thin skin that I do stand-up comedy with another guy who says all the mean stuff so that I can say all the nice stuff.
Yeah.
And be the good guy. And he was like, you know what? I just realized that I'm the bad guy on Blocked Party.
Yeah.
And I was like, so then we're great to join this together again.
You need
a good guy and a bad guy.
Both sides.
I'm a baby face. I can't.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Brett has never said like, come on, man, leave me the fuck alone. And I had bosses that were like, hey, do you think you could like come in at like 4 instead of 1? And it's like, you said 1. You said it was going to be here at 1. I need the fucking money right away at 1. I don't need the money. I need the money more at 4. Like the way that I live my life or have lived my life at that time, especially, was like there was a large difference between 1 and 4 for my money. Like, it might as well have been 10 days. There was going to be 4 hours where I didn't have any money. So it's funny to like, it sucks that they're not paying you because it sounds like you're going through the situation where they just are treating your pay as like an inconvenience of the job, where it's like, this is
absolutely, yeah.
This is my job.
The problem is like, no, sorry.
No, but they're just saying, like, I know it's my job to get them paid, and I'm sure they probably feel bad about you not getting paid, but it also feels like a pain in the ass.
I hate paying people. Like, when the bank account's really low, I'm just like, oh my God, I hate paying you right now. You're just like putting me in a spiral where I'm just like, sell t-shirts, like sell tickets, like we need cash right now because we're paying for, but I think that's also, at this point, I've just taken it on as like a part of the business is like, well, I'm generating this much attention. I'm requiring this much labor. I just got to make the money. Like I've gone from being like, I'm going to save the money to like, I'm going to make the money. Like I'm just going to make the money to get these people paid.
Right. And if you
but like you do like, it is, it really is. I think what is disheartening about it is that when your superiors are fucking with your money like that, and they don't let go and just really apologize for that and try to commiserate with you, and they treat it like, you're being rude or something if you bring it up,
That's interesting because like that is something that like we fight with too, because it like asking for your pay feels rude.
I feel like it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, can I have my check? And it's like, ugh. You want your check? And it's like, oh yeah, I come here for the check. That's the only reason I'm fucking here. Like, everything relies on this thing showing up every 2 weeks. Like, I'm a happy camper because every 2 weeks this money comes. The minute it's not here, I am in free fall.
Right. Well, and I have to assume that a student work job is not paying so much that you have some amount of money build up. And that's the thing that colleges have this, like when I was going there, they have this like way of thinking. For some reason, it feels like they think you should always have like $2,000 or $3,000 just in your bank account.
Yeah, just like a little float fund.
Yeah. Because like, that's what it sounds like. They're expecting you to like kind of shoulder this. Like, what am I like
you're just supposed to be like, oh yeah, sure. I have a bunch of reserve cash that I will pay all my bills right now. And then at the end of the month, 6 weeks from now, we'll square this all up. It's not a big deal. I got an Amex Black card. So like, I'm cool. I just want to make sure you're okay. Can I give you like a loan or something? Would it make you comfortable if it gave you my last paycheck? If I didn't cash my last paycheck, would that make you feel better? Right?
Yeah, it really feels that way.
It does.
It's like asking for a raise. We've talked about that on the show, but it's like, I've never asked for a raise in my entire fucking life because it feels rude. And it's not rude. It's absolutely the right thing to do. And it's not rude, but we're conditioned to believe
they rely
that
on
the money
it.
Part of the job.
They rely on it.
Well, yeah, and that the money part of the job is like the least important. Like of all the things for the job, it's like, well, making sure that Chuck E. Cheese, making sure that you put like plastic over all the Parmesan cheeses is important before Ecolab comes in, or like making sure that like you make sure the pizza oven's clean and all that stuff. It should be that your check is of the utmost importance to the person whose job it is to dole out your checks. And I can maybe even understand, because there was a time at Chuck E. Cheese at least where, and I'll never fucking forget this day. It was crazy. They came 2 days late. The checks came 2 days late, right? And there were people there like working there as their job. There were older people there that worked there, and the general manager was like mad at us because we were mad about trying to get our fucking money, and everybody's like, dude, it's 2 days late, like where's the checks? And he was like, don't worry about it. They'll get here. What do you think, we're not gonna pay you? And it's like, well, you haven't yet.
At this point,
I kinda do. I never believe the money's gonna show up in my account ever. Like,
no, you can't count on it until it's there.
I know. I don't have any reason to believe that money will ever be in my bank account until money is in my bank account. And even when it gets there, I don't have any reason to believe that the bank's not going to take $500 from it and say that I bounced a bunch of checks or something.
Well, yeah, I have the same thing with the amount of money that comes in for the business. I'm always just like, there's going to be something. Someone's going to stop this. Someone's going to say, this is a ridiculous amount of money that's coming through here. Like, you're going to have to explain it, and we're going to like seize it until you like show records. Like, I just feel uncomfortable like with the more that we get. It's just, this feels like there's going to be a target. Like, it's like you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, and you're not allowed to make money. Is really what
well. I mean, you have to make sure that every cent they're getting like a tenth of it. You have to make sure that you're shaving off.
That's true.
A third for them.
That is true. Yeah, my wife is the funny one about like putting her hours in and getting her money because she doesn't do it with any regularity. And I'm always like, no, you got to put the hours in, dude. You got to tell.
It's kind of close. It's in the first week now.
Oh, really? Yeah. For a while, she was like,
Katie isn't bad.
I don't want to bother.
No, Katie. No, you're right. Katie is bad because Katie doesn't even bother to do it. I'm like, it'll be 13 days into the month, and I'm like, did I pay you yet?
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, and I'm like, I fucking knew. I didn't want to. I didn't want to. And that's why I let it go this long. But like, fuck, I didn't do it. And then I'm like, well, just take it. I mean, you earned it, right? It's your fucking money. Yeah.
I think you like.
I don't expect to be asked.
Not you, because usually I don't ever ask you anyway.
No,
it usually shows right up for me.
No, I have to. She has to turn in her hours.
Right.
I don't ask anyone for their hours.
Right. You shouldn't have to. She should be turning them in, I say. I'm taking the boss's side on this.
Okay. Surprising.
She's gonna be mad now.
I don't
asked her not to listen to the show anymore.
But I mean, yeah, that's all. It's all it is. It's a matter of is like when the first. That's Patreon. Everybody knows that's payday. Just you tell me your hours and we're good to go.
Staff meeting. Did you have another grievance other than not getting paid?
That's horrible.
Well, I mean, let me say this much. I wish I had someone to yell at for my paycheck, but the thing is, it's all automated, and our HR contact actually quit last Thanksgiving.
That's great.
And they haven't replaced them.
Fuck. Love it. That's America.
I was standing... No, yeah, absolutely.
Ain't that America?
Outside.
Something to be.
You got it wrong.
It's what it is.
Motherfucker doesn't know any lyrics in his life.
It's a horrible song.
I know.
Why would you know it?
Ain't that America? Because I know every song. But so you don't even have anybody to yell at?
Well, I did see one of the administrators as I was walking out of my place of work the other day, and I stopped him and I told him, hey, I haven't been paid. My coworkers haven't been paid. In fact, one of my coworkers is saying that you're trying to cut a week of her pay out of her total paycheck. Like, what the fuck is going on? And he gave them bullshit managerial, oh, well, we realize there's a situation and we're trying to work on it. I'm like, motherfucker, it's the first of, this was last week, it's the first of the month. I have bills to pay. You haven't paid me in 2 weeks. I'm flat fucking broke. What can you do for me? And he walked away from me.
Jeez, man. Oh, I feel for you.
Wow, that's wild.
I mean, I know that dealing with the college...
Criminy.
I know that I did work study too. Like I got a paid internship when I worked there. And, they got me the money most of the time. They were only paying me like $9 an hour, no skin off their back.
Yeah, like here's $76.
Yeah, but it was like, but when I was doing the work study stuff, if something had to happen through HR or something like that, there's just no fucking possible way to get to somebody. Like it never felt, it's such a bureaucracy that it never felt like you would ever get to the person that could actually do the thing. You know that there is a person that can do it. Well, actually, my belief now is that it's 3 people and they can do a part of the thing and nobody can actually do the thing. They've got it down to a point where there's 3 people and they have like each a key and they can turn it and get your paycheck to you, but there's there isn't an ultimate top person that can get their hands on it.
Yeah.
And it's wild. It just is, there's no way to figure out how to find the people at a college. And I assume it's like this at some of the bigger corporations too. I've never worked at like a huge one, but it always was like, at McDonald's, at Chuck E. Cheese, at any of those jobs, if the checks didn't come in and you started asking questions, it was out of the hands of everybody in the building. So what was going to happen after that? What could we even possibly do after that?
No, yeah, my direct manager told me, like, go to student employment offices, see if they can help you out. I go over there and they tell me, oh, that's a problem in your department. You got to go talk to them. I'm like, motherfucking Christ. And then someone else told me, Yeah, we can't even print paychecks. Like, we don't have a system.
I knew it.
What
I
are you
know.
talking about?
Yeah.
You don't have a system to give me my money.
That's exactly. But they don't. I mean, that person's not lying. There is like not. It's 10 layers above that person, I'm sure.
I worked at this criminal ass-minded small family but pretty big company, and there was one time the checks weren't going through, and the manager just took like $100 out of petty cash. And then everybody else was like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do? And then he just handed everybody else like $50 out of petty cash. It was just like, that'll get us through tonight. And then tomorrow, hopefully, we can get our fucking checks. Oh, it was crazy. God. It was, that was a pretty wild job.
I mean, there's just nothing you can do. You have no power in that situation.
No, we were all like, everybody was in the dark, and it was just, there was nothing coming down. And back then, the computers were nothing like what we have today. I mean, you would just like sign on to this horrendous email program and just wait for like news that was never going to fucking come. I mean, there was nothing, there was no tweeting, there was no like tweeting about it. There was no other information. You were just literally stuck at a store doing your job and waiting for an email that said you could finally expect to get your fucking paycheck.
I mean, you can't even whoop somebody's ass.
No.
There isn't an ass.
Everybody there is like clueless.
Well, hey, thanks for calling in.
Good call.
Absolutely.
Good call. Thank you.
Yeah, peace out.
Yeah, there's nobody's ass to whip.
No.
There's nobody to yell at. That's what's frustrating.
There's been
a lot of like that's alien. That is true alienation from the fruits of your labor in a way. Like the Marxist thing where he says that like you're so alienated, you're so far away from the fruits of your labor that it's this big fucking machine, and that you don't even really know what you're working for. At a certain point, you're just there, like working for the money to survive. It's not like necessary.
Yeah,
and you get so far, like they can separate you so far from anybody that can make a real decision. That.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like when I decided to move to Dallas. It's like was one of those weird fortuitous events where 6 months later the company got bought by other people. And they basically bought the infrastructure and the information and just got rid of the whole team in Columbus. And all these people that I work with were just like yanked out of things that were like, wait a second, like, we had a handshake deal with this guy about promises for the future and retirement and all these other things. And like, it was just not on paper, or it just wasn't going to happen. And people just didn't have all the things that they told they were going to have, They just got like like they didn't get a check and then they got paid off for like a final amount and then they were done with them,
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, fuck, it sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. The shock of like, when it's talking about fights earlier in the show, that's also one of those things, like, it kind of rings in my mind when someone's like, my check bounced, and you're like, wait, what? Like, you're having a conversation like, you know what, fuck nougat. It's not even like a real thing. Nobody likes nougat. It's leftover. And then someone's like, my check bounced. And like, what? Yeah, mine did too. And then there's like, you're just ringing in your fucking ears. And you're just like, the money's not there, and you're just, I mean, it's fucking a bomb going off.
Like, you're sitting around thinking like, I let my electric bill go until I had to pay it tonight.
Yeah, this is the
I
last.
have checks out. I have checks out. It was the worst feeling to me. It was like I have checks out and it's not coming. Like, I have checks out. I wrote a check last night. Don't you know that's how we do things? You write a check the night before?
Yeah, we're all following the rules. Following the rules. I want to pay this. Yeah, you need to have my money. All
Again,
right.
I think there are a lot of bosses and shit, and I think there are a lot of upper management that would never consider that you don't have $1,000 or $2,000 or a week's pay socked away in case something bad happens.
Sure. Just like, I mean, go to your credit card. It's like, I haven't had a credit card in 10 years. Are you kidding me?
No,
they took those away from me as soon as I got them. Yeah. All right, let's get it on the line here. Let's wrap it up. We got a few people, but we got a little comfortable. We'll be comfortable tonight.
So we're good.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Hello?
Howdy.
Hey, what's up? Who's this?
Oh, hi. This is Andrew from PA.
What's up, Andrew? How's it going tonight? What's up?
Man, I don't even know. I guess I'm piggybacking off that last guy. You said you're doing like a Northeast tour next year?
Yeah, around May. So what's happening is that there's an event called the Great Saunter, and it happens in New York City. Basically, they walk like 35 miles of like Manhattan like coastline and visit like 16 metro parks. It's this all-day walkathon that Brian wants to do, considering he crushes that kind of shit on the regular here in town. Also, because he knows that walking long distances is one of my fitness weaknesses, and that my hip flexor is going to give out on me, and I'm going to look pathetic compared to his impressive glutes and hip structure.
Well, here's the thing. I've never walked 35 miles.
Ooh.
My highest step count was 61,000. I did it last Monday, and it was 26 miles.
Okay.
And it was
is it did I get that right? Did I call it right? Or you thought I would know the right? I'm supposed to be the guy that knows it.
Yeah, it's 61,000 steps, and
shore walkers.
I'm gonna say this to Brett.
32 miles.
Okay, I can do 32. I feel like I can still do it. That's about 75,000 steps. I think I can still do it.
Okay.
I feel fairly confident. The only issue that's gonna come is that I have to get up early.
May 2nd.
Yeah, I have to get up early. That's where the issue comes in.
Okay.
If they were doing it starting at 2 p.m. and going to like midnight, that would be the perfect.
That would be fun, yeah.
But the thing is,
sauntering is something, from what I understand, it does take place at like 1 or 3. I was reading about, I can't remember who it was. It was some stupid thing, but there was this guy that had like a house, and he had 2 houses, and he would walk so far and then to the night that he would just show up on the other side of town at like his family member's house and have breakfast with them. Yeah. Like if he got real inspired to like get steps in. Like he would just walk the whole night through until it was breakfast and then go fuck it up and then go to bed.
I mean, I have walked 35 miles in 24 hours. You know, in 24 hours, I've walked 50 miles.
Okay.
The next day, I get up and then also do it later.
It isn't fair. And with most organizing bodies with professional walking, they do a 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. day, which isn't right. I mean, it should be a 24-hour period.
Yeah, if it was a 24-hour period, I would be much. I've walked 11 miles today, and I walked 10 yesterday, 10, 12, 35,000 steps yesterday. And it just, like, I want to tell Brett where I walk, like, a distance that I walk. Can I tell you? Would you be interested in hearing, like, a span of road that I walked? I walked from Lane Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Nearby.
To 104. And then I turned around and walked. I walked
to 104
from campus, from Ohio State campus, which is in the middle of town. I walked from there to outside of the city limits of Columbus, Ohio.
Did you get to 270?
No, I didn't go to 270. I went to 104 and turned around, which is
I don't think I know it.
You do know it. It's in the south end. It's way out on the south end.
Other side.
Yeah, and it's just one of the I can look it up, but it's a very long walk through a lot of different neighborhoods.
104. Oh, I see ya.
Yeah, it's a very long walk through a bunch of different neighborhoods, and it was crazy. It was fun though. It was cool. It's like
past Hungarian Village.
Yeah, you get to see so many different settings when you do something like that, and that's why the Great Saunter is so interesting to me, because I love seeing different settings.
I mean, honestly, the south end of Columbus is its own microsystem of people that get by on whatever goes on over there. Actually, and they don't have a big part of what happens in the rest of Columbus.
Can I say this about the south end? Gentrification is happening.
Definitely.
I was down there. There was a winery there. There was a meadery there. There was a printing co-op there.
I just had to
painted dark gray buildings, right? You know what I'm talking
about?
Yeah,
I know exactly what you mean.
So it's getting gentrified, and I started thinking about it.
I just want to say real quick. I heard the fucking phrase "in transition neighborhood" this weekend.
Yeah.
I just wanted to fucking scream.
Yeah. So
thank you, caller. Thank you for being with me on that. Fuck.
I saw that though, and all the people.
Hate that.
I do too. All the people I knew that grew up on the South End, because I grew up there. I was there for a while. My mom's whole family's from over there. And all they wanted was to just move to like the suburbs or like Chillicothe or something, and it's sort of or Circleville, and it's sort of like, you know, if somebody rolled in there, some developer rolled in there and was like, look, here's money, you can go fucking get yourself like a nice little bit of land out there in Circleville, and then we're just gonna build this place up.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. But I'm not okay with the fact that they come in there and they're going to push them somewhere. Because a lot of people that live down there, like I hate to generalize, but it's like very rednecky sort of. It's like a hillbilly part of town. It's where my family's from.
It's a struggle-ish part of town.
And like a lot of the people don't want to live in the city. They are stuck in the city because the rent is cheaper at the place that they're at than the place that they want to be.
Yeah.
Or they can't afford to get a house or something like that. Or maybe some of them have been there for generations, which is sad. Like there's going to be so many people kicked out of their houses that have been there for generations. And it's just
But you're right. If they're going to just work in AutoZone and like live in Columbus, they could also just go somewhere else and work at AutoZone and be fucking fine.
Yeah, if they let
you could probably live a much more richer life.
I know, and like I don't want people to like.
It's
take
fucked
this
up, but I mean, whatever.
don't want people to take this as like. I think people should move out of the neighborhoods that they grew up in. That the culture should be gone, because I want the culture there. I want that neighborhood to stay. I want all that stuff to be there. I find that part of the city cool. I want to put our office over there.
Sure,
you know, which is gentrification.
Yeah,
but like I want to like I like it over there. And I like it over there because it's not like antiseptic, and it's like there are still like, you know, there's still cars on blocks in the front yard. People still have chickens out there, and stuff like that. And it's like I want that there. I think like places like that are what I thought a city was going to be when I moved to the city when I was a kid.
But like earlier in this, once again, it's like these people do also provide a service to us, and most of them have done something that we all need, but do not value the labor that they provide. Like, so we keep them in poverty, and they, wouldn't be doing this otherwise,
Right. And they also wouldn't,
I mean, it's just a matter of like, nobody should be running into somebody else's neighborhood and taking it all up. We should all just be evenly provided the services and like all of that. It's the way that they fuck it up with the schools. The schools, it's all based on taxes. And so these motherfuckers that, just go to the suburbs where the taxes are higher and people pay more for the schools. And, people in the city are just supposed to fucking deal with it. And we leave these kids in this system that isn't fucking set up to help them at all, Like my kid's school, it fucking sucks. It's terrible.
We also we do also like expect people to come into the city to work for like almost no money, but to also live in the city and somehow get to work every day.
Eric and I, like our dream house, we can't, the house in our neighborhood where we rent right now is $300,000. If a regular ass house that is probably 1,400 square feet, like is unaffordable for us, we can't even get close to that. Like we're trying to figure out like where are we going to live? How can we find a place? We're gonna go gentrify. Like that's what we can do at this point, Like
and that's what they want you to do. I mean that's what the city
everything's set up to do. Everything is set up for us to take the shit over, and it's just so stupid. And
developer should be a dirty word. Like when you say the word developer, people should spit on the ground.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because
they're putting condos up nearby. They probably would want us to move over here on Indianola, where there's going to be a brand spanking new Aldi within walking distance, and there's like a vegan cafe and a natural grocer, and they're going to have like, a condo for $180,000. That's probably what like they want to slot it into.
Well, yeah, and let me
just
tell
living
you,
in an apartment, just like basically buying an apartment for the rest of our life is what we can fucking expect to get as like our like moving on up lifestyle from being broke ass kids that ate fucking rotten food.
When I was going out to get food last night. I wanted to get dinner. Me and my wife were out walking around the town, and there we live. Fuck it. I mean, enough people see me there now that I think everybody knows that lives in Columbus. We live in Grandview Heights. which is like kind of a small neighborhood right off of downtown. It's about a mile away from downtown. And there used to be a big warehouse there. The warehouse closed. All those jobs went away too. And they leveled it. And a developer came in. And this was before Brett even moved to Dallas. A developer came in and they were like, we are going to build the Grandview Yard. And let me tell you about the Grandview Yard. It is going to be magnificent. There's going to be commons areas. There's going to be a playground. There's going to be concerts there. There's going to be so many stores and so many restaurants and so many coffee shops. You're never going to know what to do with it.
Yeah, vertical integration.
And when we were walking yesterday, we were figuring out where we were going to eat. And we were coming up, and me and my wife like kind of both laughed a little bit, and it was like, all that's in the Grandview Yard is a Jason's Deli.
Yeah.
That's the only fucking thing there.
It's very weird.
There's nothing else there.
No, they have the fake German restaurant.
Well, yeah, but that's also in every city too. But
people like that.
I guess, yeah. But it's just real funny to me to think about like what they ended up actually doing was putting a bunch of condos that nobody lives in, and a bunch of dentist offices, a gym, and
yes,
there's one more thing that they put in there that I wanted to that German restaurant, and it just is like these houses are clapboard houses. They're tiny. They call them condos. They're separate from each other, but they're these tiny, shitty built houses.
These are like row houses.
Yeah, and they're $500,000.
Yeah,
it's
a completely sterilized environment. It's a place where you go outside and it looks like a Google SketchUp, like just a model of like a city landscape. You go out there and then you just take an Uber and a Lyft to like the dirty part of the city where the rent, where it's $400 for rent above a fucking nightclub.
My wife was also killing me because we were walking by White Castle headquarters, which White Castle is headquartered here. It used to be a small building that looked like a White Castle. They're knocking that fucking thing down.
Yeah.
And they're building condos there. My wife was like, is White Castle building condos? And I was like, yeah. She was like, this is the fucking craziest city. It's just everywhere that there's space, there's a condo.
Well, and it's just that like lowering of the lifestyle. Like, they made us all move to the suburbs, and then we went out there, and then now we're all like, hey, we want to go back to the city. And now they've said like, well, to live in the city, you have to pay $500,000 for a fucking house.
the
like,
amount we were paying to go to the suburbs.
But you could get like maybe an apartment with a pool, and bike storage, and that is affordable, Like you get a condo now. You get this, like you said, just slapped together. Those ones over the Grandview Yard is just pathetic.
It is like the developer made these promises though, and like I can imagine this is happening all over the country where these developers are coming in and they're saying we're gonna fucking make a city of the future. This is gonna be a wonderful city. And then
it's like Celebration Florida. It's going to be like a Disney experience, just all in one.
And they get it done. There's nothing there, but
right. But I mean, you can walk to the gym and you can get an awful sandwich from Jason's Deli, who should be out of business. Yeah. I mean, goddamn, Jason should be like an epitaph for a sandwich. Like this thing is a real fucking Jason.
It's the worst place.
Yeah, like I have a bad sandwich as a Jason.
Yeah,
in my mind.
And you were asking us about the tour. It's the Hellfire Congregation. It's us and the Sams and the Trillbillies. And around the Great Saunter, we plan to do probably Philly, New York, maybe Providence, Portland, Maine, and Boston. We plan to go up and do that. It's not booked yet or anything, but, I mean, we're all good friends, and we all are in a chat together and very excited to hang out with each other again. So I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, we can get a van.
Yeah, we got to get a van, which that's the thing. We know we can get a van, maybe one with a radio in it this time. Maybe like an upgrade to one with a radio.
Yes, that would be great.
Do you have anything else? I'm sorry. We took you way off topic there.
No, that's okay. No. Are you guys coming to Pittsburgh like anytime soon again?
I want to.
Yeah.
Like me and him. I
mean, if you mentioning it does make it a priority.
Right. We're doing one-offs, I think, probably with the Trillbillies over our break. We're doing we're taking a road break from mid-November to April. And we're only doing gigs that are within like 3.5 hours of Columbus. So
Pittsburgh is one, yeah. We need to do a proper show there.
We've never done a street fight show there.
Yeah, we haven't done a street fight show there, and we can get there and come back. We love the city. It's breathtaking. I'd love to make a vacation of it. It's one of my favorite places, but I still haven't spent a significant amount of time. I really want to dive into all the art museums that are there more than anything and see a show.
I want to eat the food. That food in that city is wild.
Yeah. They gave you a fucking tin tray full of sausage and sauerkraut and French fries.
The last time we went with Jason, and he made us go to Permanente, brother.
Oh yeah, the original.
He loves that.
Oh fuck yeah.
He loves
the
that
OG
place,
one.
so.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah, we'll go, but we'll be there. I think Pittsburgh. I actually had somebody offer to let us perform in a record store there, and. That might be cool.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We might set something up.
Well, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Buddy.
Have a good one. All right, let's get this next caller in here.
Oh, we got half hour left.
1.5 hour.
What we got left?
Hey, thanks for calling Street Fight. What's up?
Howdy.
Hey, who's this?
Nobody special.
Terry? Okay. Is this the big guy?
Well, I am a big guy, but
you're not the
I don't
big
know if I'm
guy.
a big guy. No.
Okay. Can we call you Terry?
No.
Are you pranking us?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, Brian, you were talking about Marilyn Manson today.
Yes, I was. I love him. I bought a Marilyn Manson T-shirt.
Yeah, like Marilyn Manson and then Eminem, they were like the last great moral panics about music.
Right.
Like I was the guy that told you about how there were a bunch of people at like a church thing that were talking about Marilyn Manson, like he was Genghis Khan. He was going to come in and burn their houses down, and
they told so.
Well, Brian just showed me a shirt actually.
Yeah, can I read that shirt?
Yeah, Brian. So Brian. So Leslie Lee is a huge Marilyn Manson fan, and so when we were driving around and doing the tour with them, like Brian had this playlist going, and then Marilyn Manson came on once. Leslie was like, "I fucking rock with this," and Brian was like, "Well, fuck it, we'll just listen to Marilyn Manson." Apparently, and this happens to us all, it took him down a wormhole, and when he got to the show today, he was like, "Man." I was looking in like the vintage Marilyn Manson shirts, man. I saw this one, it's like $200 some, but like this shit is fucking shocking to me right now. Like I can't even believe that this was really fucking made. Like I don't even know if you could do this anymore.
So here's what it says. I'm gonna read this off. Warning.
Like kill your parents, kill yourself.
Yep, here it comes.
It says, warning. The music of Marilyn Manson contains messages that will, and then in big letters say, kill God. And then it says, in your irresponsible teenage minds, as a message you could be convinced to, and then in really big words it says, kill your mom and dad. And it says, and eventually in an act of hopeless rock and roll behavior, you will kill yourself, in really big letters. And it says, please burn your records while there's still hope. And like, that was a shirt he was fucking selling.
Yeah.
And the thing so after listening to him.
Big money.
I listened to him all day today, and we were listening to him while we were driving, and something occurred to me about Marilyn Manson, is that like, he was talking to teenagers, right? But his songs were all pointed at their parents. He was antagonistic toward teenagers' parents in a way that made him fucking rule at the time.
Well, he's like us, where he's an adult that's like, your parents are all shams. They're fucking lying to you. They're not pious at all.
Yeah. Your parents suck. No, and like, but he was also kind of making pretty cool statements, and like I was thinking about the song "The Man That You Fear," and the chorus to that song is something like he says something, you poison all your children to camouflage your scars. And I started thinking about how, like, we all get fucked up from, like, growing up. And then, like, a lot of boomer type people decided to just fuck their kids up because that's the way they got fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, as they were growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying that, like, that is, like, I mean, of course, like, in the song before that, he says, I went to God just to see, and God was looking at me, saw heaven and hell were lies. When I'm God, everyone dies. That's cool thing to say, but it's not, like, as meaningful as something like you poison all your children to camouflage your scars. Like, that is fucking a really deep thing to be saying to teenagers, you know? And he was just like, for me, adults were terrified of him. I saw him live in 1997 at Ozfest 97. I went to see him in concert. And then, and there was a bomb threat. Like, somebody called in a bomb threat at the venue, and there were just all these cops. They didn't evacuate us or anything. They had a bunch of cops, like, at one side. Nobody really knew what was going on. And then during his set, an airplane was, like, flying with a banner that says, remember, Jesus loves you and he will forgive you. And then 2 or 3 years later, my cousin, who was very young, got into Marilyn Manson. And her mom called me because she was 14, 15 years old. Her mom called me and she said, hey, will you go to a Marilyn Manson concert with my daughter if I pay for it? And I was like, well, of course I'll go. And even in 2003, 2004, we were walking up to that fucking or maybe it was like 2006, I don't know, but we were walking up to that concert and we had to walk through a group of Christian protesters handing out pamphlets and stuff like that. And it was just really crazy to me.
That's outrageous. Yeah, I did wish I would have went to something that was that contention. I listened to the albums and I saw a lot of it and it was really wild, but I didn't get to go to the show.
Right. Well, people used to also protest movies back then too.
Yeah.
Do you remember the movie The Siege?
No.
It was racist. It was a very racist movie about
Arabs. It was Bruce Willis and Denzel Washington. And it was about how it was basically a Muslim sleeper cell in New York.
Yeah.
And they shut down the whole city. Yeah.
1998. This movie was made. Yeah. And people rightly were out protesting in front of the movie theater. And it sort of feels like now that the way pop culture is that, first of all, I don't think any parents really even know what's going on because it's all so individualized and it's not really genres or anything like that. And like everybody's just kind of listening to everything. It's like atomized. Like my daughter does not.
Yeah, I'm fucking, I don't have any kids and I'm in my mid 30s and I don't know what the fuck yeet means.
Yeah, my kid listens to all of a sudden Billie Eilish was like the biggest artist in the world and she like snuck in there without me knowing. A guy that prides himself on knowing what people are doing. Like I generally growing up, and this is funny, I was actually having this conversation with my wife last night, but one of the things that I bonded with Brett about that wasn't like poverty or anything like that was that like we were dudes that were always trying to figure out what was next with pop culture when we were kids. And like, we spent all of our time, we spent all of our time getting as much of it as we could. You know, we would sit in front of the TV and just watch MTV all day so that we knew what was happening in movies, music, and TV. And it was sort of like some of the most important stuff of our lives. And Brett has like a more extensive knowledge. He has the same knowledge as me in my generation, but he's 5 years younger than me. So I don't know. Like he was just paying attention to shit. And like, I don't think people pay attention to stuff like that anymore. I don't really think that people take these things as seriously as they used to. And I don't think anybody takes music that seriously. I think it was like it's actually surprising that at that time, even parents that grew up listening to the Beatles, parents that grew up listening to like David Bowie, took Marilyn Manson seriously. And I just can't see it happening ever again.
Well, and at this point, I mean, it's all been broken open with the spread of information and But back then, it was very much still in the dark. I mean, you're talking about a time when you had to call people from a landline to get in contact with them. There was no other way. I mean, the computer was available, but very limited. And so people just lived day to day and heard about a guy that was androgynous and was telling them to kill God and not believe in their parents anymore. And it's, you know, there had already been like enough like Sally Jesse Raphael and like Phil Donahue specials about Satanists and like the way that people can get manipulated by dark spirits and become a part of cults and shit. Like, it's a matter of he grabbed the right energy to create a fucking shitstorm.
Well, yeah, number one, like you said, it was pre-internet, and then number two, the thing that I remember the people freaking out about, like at a church meeting, was they were talking about this guy Marilyn Manson. He had some of his ribs removed, so he could do self-fellatio.
Yeah, I mean, they did a lot of stuff, too.
I'll say this, too. They also thought he was Paul from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, that was also a rumor. Yeah, I mean, but, you know, the thing about it, you know, I think if you cut through all of it, I don't think it was a matter of being sensationalist. I do think it was very smart on his part. I think Lady Gaga also has done a similar thing. But at the end of the day, when you listen to the music, it's like some of the best fucking metal music, you know, of the last century. Like, I mean, that's been made, right? Like Marilyn Manson has legendary albums, a lot of them. And so that's really what kept it going. It wasn't just because he was willing to stand up on a podium and rip the Bible in half. It was also because the shit banged.
But that shit was also scary.
I
remember smoking a joint in Bible paper when I was in high school. We like took a joint, we smoked it in Bible paper. Yeah. And everybody there were people that were hung out with me regularly that were legitimately like freaked out about that. You didn't fuck with the Bible. Yeah. It's like the American flag now. You just like don't, like, I don't have any problem with somebody burning the flag. But if you're going to burn the flag, like in public or on stage, you better be willing to, like, take the consequences for that, which are going to be steep. They're going to be very steep consequences. If you're going to piss on the American flag, which, fine, do it. I'm real cool with it. But I also, like, don't want a bunch of veterans threatening to kill me, you know? And that was, like, kind of what he like, Marilyn Manson being a guy that was, like, it's always fascinating, these people that decide to like take that on. You know, that are like, I'll take it on. I don't care. I'm brave. I'm not brave, but it's just like he was getting rich. He was making money doing it. And he was having fun. And if you listen to his discography, you can tell that he obviously, after every album, sort of figured out what was tweaking people and then did more of it on the next album until, you know, people didn't care anymore. I would be interested, though. I would be interested in if somebody else at some point is going to get parents freaked out. There was like a minor uproar last year about Lil Uzi Vert being satanic, but it just went away immediately. Like nobody talked about it because they said his name sounds like Lil Lucifer.
Also,
like I said, I think it was I think it was Manson, and then after that it was Eminem. And those were like the last two big moral panics for like white suburbia.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, I mean, that's the way music went, is that like rock music isn't dominant anymore, you know. White artists aren't dominant anymore.
That is interesting.
Now it just gets written off as, well, it's black music basically.
Yeah, well, they have to
rap. It's those guys rapping.
Yeah, well, and they also have to be freaked out. I mean, they're freaked out about rap. Like, there are so many people freaking out about rap all the time. But it is like...
Yeah, but I mean, that's gone all the way back to, like, you know...
Yeah, it's the same shit. Yeah.
I mean, the rock stuff...
Public Enemy, NWA, I mean...
rock stuff has just... The rock has been completely commodified to the point where, like, you know... and I was on the bleeding edge of this, but there was not a place to go buy stuff besides going downtown to weird stores that had like the T-shirts for those bands, or had like UFO pants, or had like all of that stuff. Like it really took effort, and now it's just been so gobbled up, and it's just a part of things. Like the way that you look, like listening to Marilyn Manson and being goth back then, I was being called like the F word constantly, or being like bullied. Like that was not the coolest thing, and now it is just a look for the gram, and like
it is.
and so it's just things have changed dramatically. But I do want to say also, Marilyn Manson, genius musician, also one of the finest contestants on Celebrity Deathmatch as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of my faves.
Also, very good in Sons of Anarchy. His character, he was in Sons of Anarchy, which seems like perfect for him.
All right. Well,
thanks for calling, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, you too, guys.
If you want to hear more of that sweet new metal chat from Brian, he's doing a podcast, right?
The
POD cast
with John Cullen from Blocked Party. We just recorded our first episode. It is only monthly because there's only so many times any hours in a day, and John is a teacher. And he is also a traveling stand-up comedian. So
okay,
it's like kind of
busy sketch
too, and a podcaster.
Yes,
and I'm a podcaster that does 1,000 podcasts. But like, maybe someday we'll make it more. But the first every month we will be looking at a different new metal album. The first one is "Significant Other" by Limp Bizkit. I don't know if people are kind of bummed about that because it was like, we were kind of going back and forth. We wanted to do like the biggest one, the peak era of new metal. And I feel like Significant Other was kind of the peak, and it was like all downhill from there.
Yeah, the red hat, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
That motherfucking red hat.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a smart choice.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been Follow the Leader, but I feel like Significant Other was bigger. It just turned it into arena rock at that point. It was... I mean,
when it became about Nookie, then it was like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can get with this.
It's weird, though. You don't want to hear what's weird about it? And I said this on the show, but I want to say it here, too. There were actually, like, girls at Limp Bizkit concerts where there were none at Korn concerts. None. Like, it's just, Korn, my wife doesn't.
I mean,
like
at
Korn.
this point, there is. I would say the Korn concert had a good representation, the one that we went to.
When in like
in
1995 or 7, when
sure.
we were seeing the shows, me and my friends were always kind of
just
like
guys beating each other up and being mad at their parents.
Yeah, me and my friends were always like, "There's no girls at Korn concerts, or there's no girls at what's the other band that there's no but there are girls at Deftones concerts and Limp Bizkit concerts." It was always just like.
I mean, Fred Durst is a catty person. And like, I think that that stuff is universal and is more party oriented.
Right. He wasn't singing about he was singing about like not depressing stuff.
No, it was just like it's fucked up, all this, the way things shake out, Yeah. I mean, a lot of the best like party music is just about how like it's really confusing the way that you hate this person, but you just can't stay away from them.
It's funny because
like,
when you read
it's a young person lesson that you have to learn.
One of my favorite things is in Our Band Could Be Your Lives, in that book, how they kind of talk about how like the earliest hardcore, like Minor Threat, and like I never thought about it like this, but it's some guy just talking to somebody that's like not there.
Yeah,
it's just like he's telling
telling somebody off.
Yeah, me and you do this sometimes on the show. He builds a straw man and then tears it down.
Yeah, you fucking think that like just yelling at him.
And that's what Limp Bizkit mostly was, just him building like some woman in his mind that broke up with him and he was mad at, or some guy that was borrowing money from him that he was mad at.
It's mastermind. I mean, you feel like you're a genius in your own mind and you were just playing these complex characters and it was all just hormones and power dynamics. All right, let's get this last call in here. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to tonight?
Is it me?
Yeah.
This is you? Oh, yay.
Definitely you.
Oh, my God. This is so crazy. I can't believe this. So I wanted to call in to talk to you guys about the fact that I just came back from Burning Man, and it made me realize that I'm not lazy.
Really? I like that.
So how did it make you realize that?
So, I mean, I work at a nice white-collar job, and it's fine and everything, but, like, I put, like, my 5% into it, and it, like, it just kind of starts getting to you, like, in all the ways that work is terrible, but also just making you, like, wonder, like, why can't I do really, really basic shit? Because, like, my job is not that hard or anything, but I struggle so much to do, like, just what's ahead of me because it feels so soul grinding. But so I went to the burn and I camped with a camp of like 180 some odd people. And I'm a pretty tiny lady. I'm like 130 pounds, like less than 5'5". And I'm out there like hauling just so much shit and filling shipping containers and just like sweating in like the hot desert sun and pulling rebar out of the earth and using power tools and just like putting my 110% into this communal effort. And I realize it's because I'm working for something that I actually care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it's so much of it is. I mean, it's attitude. I mean, it's just a matter of like, I really don't want to do this. The last thing I want to do in the world is like do that job thing. Like it feels like pulling teeth. Like, and I have to do breathing techniques to make my way through it. But if you're like thrown in the middle of nowhere and it's like, well, fucking make some shelter or something. Like, yeah, slap this shit together. Just figure it out.
It is funny, like, because I talk so much about all the things I did when I was working a real job. Like, I talk about all how I was lazy and I was always trying to catch a nap or something like that. And the way I'm working on Street Fight right now is I am doing hours that I would have never done for anybody ever. Like there's just not an amount of like, cause I just launched a new podcast. I'm putting together the Shocktober stuff and I'm doing the regular shows and we're doing live shows. And it's just like, no, man, I have boundless energy to make this happen, but never had that for any other place that I worked in my life.
Yes, exactly. It's so crazy. I mean, just working with people that you actually like or on something that like you want to see come to fruition, or even for like kind of someone else's vision that you just actually believe in a very genuine sense. And I don't know, I've only been working, I guess, I graduated in 2015, so I've been working for 4 years now. And kind of, I guess it's just at this point in my life where I'm really starting to feel kind of ground down by just like working in a work setting. Like in college, you kind of feel like hopeful and that there's this world of possibility and opportunity ahead of you where you could work at a cool company, TM, and then you just realize like, no, that doesn't exist. So it felt really good to go out and like be affirmed that I can do something that I care about and I can put my all into something. It's just never going to be at the benefit of some random fucking CEO that's trying to squeeze me and all of my coworkers dry.
Right. You're not apathetic. And that's the thing. Like, cause I go through phases, I think, where I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about like my apathy, where it's like, I don't want to tell people that you can't change the world, but sometimes I really feel like it's impossible and that I don't have any faith in people to make it happen. But I don't want to, like, that's not the message I want to send, and that's not the world that I want, And that's not like what I wouldn't say that, it's like it's better to just work on something that you believe in, that you want to happen, than it is to like give in to this thing. And I'll say this too. You said you've been working 4 years and you don't feel like you've been doing it like for long enough to get burned out. You are in it, and 4 years is a long time. And I mean, it usually takes people. I mean, it's the thing, what's happening, and that maybe you got to try for something else, and it like very early on compared to other people. Cause I know that like when I was working and I had been in the workforce for 4 years, I was 20 years old, and I thought that the fact that I wasn't able to hold on to a job was my fault or made me a bad person until I was like 35 years old. I like didn't get over that. And you have had this epiphany, and it seems like, it seems like you figured something out there. Like it jarred something loose, and it'll probably motivate you to do more or do something different,
Yeah, that's definitely the hope. And that's part of the reason I wanted to call in, is just because I wanted to say to other people who, I'm sure there are literally millions of people feeling the same way right now. It's like, you are not a lazy person. Mm-mm. You are not the worth of whatever productivity measure that you are placed against, like in the confines of your job. I'm sure that you are a capable person, and you're capable of doing so many amazing things. It's just like, why would you in whatever system you're in right now? Because there's no actual intrinsic or extrinsic motivation for you to do so.
There's no guarantee that if you work really hard, you're going to get out on the other end and be rewarded either. We've seen so many people get out on the other end of working until they're 65 or whatever. And then they're working at Walmart after that because their job, they retired and they ended up needing money. And it's like, once you kind of understand all that stuff, I don't know. I think in a way, it motivates you to do new things and different things, and it makes you feel less. Because for me, it was I need this job. If this job goes away, it's catastrophic, and it's never it's gonna be bad, and I have to put all my energy into this, and I put no energy into anything else, and that's the sad thing. Mm-hmm. I think the saddest thing to me is you give them so much of yourself that you can't do these things that you're passionate about, and people don't have that opportunity like you did or like I did to figure out oh shit, I am worth something. I can do something. There's something I'm good at. It's just not this. or it's not even that you're not good at it. There's something I'm good at, but I have no interest in becoming good at this or doing this right even,
Or even I could be good at this, but the way I could be good at this is not acceptable within the confines of my job.
Oh, I know. I always felt that way at every job I ever had. It was I could make this job tolerable for myself, but they wouldn't like the way that I do it. I mean, if I could come in at I would do any job in the world if I could come in at 2. Or at if I could come in at 2 and work till 10, or even on days where I woke up a little earlier, I could cut you know what I'm saying? Brett, if I could do almost any shitty job in the world if they just let me do it my way and let me come in when I want to do and let me do the amount of work that's there and then just leave. I could do that, and I would feel like I'd be able to move on with the rest of the day. And I think the thing that we get so tied up in is I desperately am holding on to a thing that I know that I don't want to do, and I'm not putting all my effort into it, but it's taking away all my energy to put my effort into things that I care about. And I think that's the tragic thing a lot of times that people run into.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And they just really guilt you in certain ways about why isn't this your biggest priority? And it's because no one ever cares about something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, we're here to stroke somebody's ego above us. No one wants to hear an honest critique of the workplace and or what everybody else thinks here. Or how things should be run. They just want everything to be comfortable and smooth, and me to be here with a smile and not make a problem,
Yeah, and I just went through some weird company training. I mean, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but our company will consistently redo training and evolve as a way to like show that they're doing something or something. And one of the things was like, oh yeah, call out if there's a breakdown in communication and, you know, come up with a new communication plan. And I had an instance with a coworker where they, I mean, were just acting super unprofessionally and super rude to me. And so I, you know, brought it up to my manager and I said, hey, I think we're having like a communication breakdown. I'm calling a breakdown. And I think we should like all get together to come up with, you know, a plan about how to approach this. And he was basically like, no, we're not going to do that. And it's like, well, then what was the point of everything we just talked about?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, was that serious? I'm sorry. I guess I mistook what we were doing there, you know?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's like it's just a classic case of like CYA, like they're just trying to cover their own ass in like any situation and like come up with a framework to mitigate your complaints.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's. I mean, you know, so much of it is just not being an underling, like just figuring out a way to not be considered to be one of the lower people and slotting yourself in alongside of the email pushers, you know, and the folks that don't have to be held accountable, and some have to build up like the kind of clout where people won't even bother to ask like what they actually do, you know?
Yeah, and that's like another thing too, is just like I've been like, okay, so who does what? And no one really seems to have an answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just, and it feels to bring this all back, it feels really weird to come back from like the desert where there's just such a sense of communal effort and people really are organized based on like, okay, what are you good at? And also, what do you want to learn how to do? And like, none of this is too serious and it's all going to happen either way. And like, we're not worried about making money. So to go from kind of like this really very weird, wonderful environment and to come back to a place where like it's even taboo to ask questions about the right way to do something just feels very, very jarring.
Yeah, for sure. That's I mean that it's like, do you regret it now? Like, would you just like shove all that away? Like, do you wish you could just forget that you ever realized all of this? Like, what do you do? Like,
not.
So what do you do with this information?
I mean, like, so this is the second time that I've gone, so this feeling is very familiar. Like, I went through this the last time as well. It's just, you know, reliving all of it, and I didn't go last year, so it's kind of like a bigger, I guess, re-entry shock. But I guess what I would say is the best thing you can do is, like, the best thing that I have done since my first endeavor in 2017 and what I've done since then and what I plan to do after this is just hitch yourself to a community art project or a community arts endeavor. So, like, after the first time, I managed art grants for a community event of like 400 people, and I just help people submit their art and get money for it and kind of bring it all together to be enjoyed. And then I've done that on a larger scale, and now I'm either going to do that again with some kind of community arts grant project or actually help like the project management of some sort of art project. So I would just say get involved with some kind of community endeavor, whether it be in the arts, whether it be like community activism, whether it be political stuff, just like get together with a group of people where profit is not the main motivator, and you'll be so surprised at how wonderful people are, at what close relationships you make, and at how fulfilled you feel. Like, after coming back the first time, it was the first time I'd done anything remotely community oriented, and it completely changed my outlook and like the way that I related to life outside of myself.
I can see that. I mean, like, you know, we have kind of, it's changed this podcast has changed the way we look at the world. In that, like, me and Brett, I don't think I was the most. I don't think I loved people very much until I started doing this, and then a community developed, and then I meet people around me, and now I just like have like a real appreciation for other humans. Like, I don't dislike them like I used to, and it is just by virtue of meeting a ton of people, you know, a ton of different people, different types of people, and it's been real great for me. So, Yeah, organizing in your community means that you meet all different types of people, and you'll probably build lifelong friends doing that. Thanks for calling in. We're heading out, right, Brett?
Awesome.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Well,
go
thanks
ahead.
so much for talking to me. Can I plug one thing?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I'm friends with your Christian friend from Chapel Hill who hooked you up with some liquid shrooms, and it was his birthday recently.
Oh, that's the
So
best
I'd just like
person.
to say, yeah, happy birthday to the Christian friend, and thank you so much for talking to me. Y'all help just keep it real, and just mitigate kind of the gaslighting I feel from working in a corporate shitty environment. So thank y'all for existing.
Yeah, and can you tell the Christian friend that we're going to be in the Northeast with the boys again, and they're probably going to really want some of those.
Yeah, those were amazing.
I'm kidding.
That was the best way to do shrooms ever.
It was incredible. Everybody really loved it.
I'll pass it along.
They really made that tour special, I will say. So let them know that,
yeah, that
they
whole show,
probably
the whole
made that-
podcast we did, we were doing those fucking things. We were squirting it in our fucking mouth.
Right, and let them know that they made that tour, they made the Hellfire congregation like a thing. Now it's like
I'm so happy to hear that, and I will make sure he knows.
Yeah, he should feel real good. I really care for those other, for the Sams and for the Trillbillies and for Nick and Martha and
Oh my
everybody
God.
that was out there.
You know, it was crazy as hell. He's a little baby. He's only 22 years old. And he took a squirt of those mushrooms, and we were staying at this place out on a creek in Florida and he just starts running around in the grass going, he's laughing hysterically, and he's looking at our faces, and he just starts laughing at how different everything looks, and it was so fucking funny.
Right.
Marta was kind of is he becoming what she said something is he losing his mind right now? And I'm yeah, but not in a bad way.
The Sams got really crazy about ping pong there too.
Oh,
they
yeah.
wouldn't stop playing, and I think it felt if they thought if they didn't play ping pong, they wouldn't be able to hold on to their sanity.
Yeah.
It was very fun. So thanks for calling in, and thank your friend for being awesome.
Some of the best tripping I've done in my life, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Everybody thank your Christian friend. That's their name, right? Your Christian friend?
Yeah, my Christian friend. Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody,
Protestant man.
Yeah, everybody thank them for solidifying the bond of the Hellfire congregation and making a great time for us. Thanks for calling in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great night.
I will.
Peace.
I'm about to watch The Fanatic, baby.
Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. We will see you on Wednesday. Yeah, we'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to do the live stream if you want to watch it. If you want to chat along, you can find us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. You can also see us live if you're in Texas next month, October. We're going to be in Dallas, Oklahoma City, Austin, and Houston. That information is available at streetfightradio.com. If you want more of what we do, just go to patreon.com/streetfightradio. There's an impressive amount of bonus content that you can get and rummage through.
Hey, be ready for us. Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego.
November.
We're the very beginning of November. We're leaving on November 8th to head out there, and we're doing shows at those places, and the tickets should probably be up sale very soon, in the next week or so.
Okay.
Everything's booked, so it's just a matter of putting everything together. And that's the last tour until April, and then finally in April, Florida will finally get Street Fight Live.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole shebang. Yeah. But we appreciate everybody that's supported us this far, and we'll continue to do what we do. And please let us know what you think, and reach out to us. Email, DM, @reply, whatever it is. We're Street Fight Radio. Stay barefoot. Peace. No, I can't hit the stop button. That sucks. It's like really just takes all the punch out of ending it.
Yeah, now the ending is like kind of dumb because